Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Hola. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Welcome back. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. Welcome back. This is the Two Dum Yinzers. This is episode 910. 90. Just 90 shows away from the big 1,000, guys. It'll be here before you know it. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Glad to see you. We got, you know what? Let me introduce the panel today. We have from right here in, right from the heart of Western Pennsylvania, Beaver County. He may eat his corn on the cob long ways, but you know what? That never really mattered much to us. Finch, everybody, how you doing, brother?
I am doing mighty fine. Do I sound okay?
No, you sound
couple
wonderful.
Things were unhooked when I came down today because I had to do some PC stuff. Just making sure everything's working. I'm doing great. I feel good. Having a day off. I don't get a lot of those. And I'm just happy to be here to talk with my buddies.
Nice. We're glad to see you, man. Michael, speaking of sexy.
Yes.
The man whose hair on his back is longer than the hair on his head, all the way from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Mike, how are you today?
I am damn good, my brother. I'm happy to be here. I'm ready to talk some fucking Steelers football, baby.
A lot to get into, guys. Finch just had a dentist appointment yesterday. Apparently, he got drilled. You know what? As long as I've known you, Finch, there's been about 30 dentist stories. I'm surprised you have any teeth left. I can remember.
I go to the dentist so much. That's why I have these sparkly, beautiful teeth. But that is true. I was actually thinking about you yesterday because I had a dentist, as you remember, I had my wisdom teeth pulled 20-something years ago. And I had issues with it. Like, my jaw was numb for like up 3 months after that. And like, it's wild, man. Me and the dentist don't get along, but I always feel better when I leave the dentist. So there's that.
Yeah, I remember that.
He gets drilled and his cavities filled, and he feels better after the dentist.
Yeah.
Well, I know one thing. I do remember when you lost total feeling in your jaw for it seemed like forever. Months had gone by, and you were like, "Dude, I still can't feel my chin." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here."
My chin and my bottom lip was the real issue because I couldn't feel it at all. So like, I would get like drool, like spittle, and I couldn't tell. And then like my lips would get super chapped, and I would be biting them and not knowing it. Like I'd eat something and I'd bite. It's funny now, but it was a crappy thing to deal with. And then, it took a couple months before the feeling got back in my lower jaw. It was not a pleasant experience.
And if I'm remembering right, that was just right before
the day before Thanksgiving.
The day before
Thanksgiving, I had 6 teeth removed, and that was the worst Thanksgiving in history. Yes. I couldn't eat the good stuff. It sucked.
Finch and the dentist. I just can't. I just with these stories. Mike, today's big episode 910. Just 90 shows away from the big 1,000. Again, we'll be here through tomorrow. Then we are going to take our winter break next week. And we'll be back the following week to get ready to go full balls to the wall with all the off-season events, everything coming up. The Combine just at the end of this month. Of course, free agency a month away, and then just 71 days away from the draft right here in Pittsburgh. A lot of things going on. And I even seen the guys yesterday on the board, Finch, they were talking about being interested in maybe hanging out with you. You're going out to Las Vegas there.
Yes.
I seen a couple of the guys, of course, John and Vegas. They said it'd be neat to get together with Finch and meet Finch.
I'm going to be there for 2 nights, 3 days. So it's a little bit of a shorter trip for me, and I have a couple things planned. But I'm going to find a way to let you guys know where I'm going to be. I'm mostly going to be hanging out in the city, either on the Strip, Fremont Street, that area, which is like old Vegas. That's where I was at last year. I loved it. I'm going to be there again. So maybe a date on Fremont Street, guys. Come by. Maybe we'll find a spot to sit down and have a few drinks.
All right, there you go, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 910 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back. Let's get on the board. I want to see what everybody has to say today, guys. Let me go all the way down. Let me go all the way down right here. Tyrone says, my guy, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Tyrone, the GOAT on the terrible board. How you doing, my man? Steel Loyal says, gang in the house. Steel Loyal, what's up, baby? Always great seeing Steel Loyal in the house. Tyrone says, Steel gang in this bitch. Also, Tortilla, what's up, dude? All the way from Sacramento, California says, what's up? Tyrone says, Ryan, Finch, Mike, goats. You were the GOAT, Tyrone. You were the GOAT, my friend.
We are nothing but sheep compared to you, Tyrone.
Right. Remember when being the GOAT was a bad thing? When you were the like if you were a kicker who missed a field goal, you were the GOAT.
You were a GOAT. Yep.
And then all of a sudden the GOAT turned into the greatest of all time. So
I mean, it is a good acronym.
It's a wonderful acronym.
It's a good acronym. It works. But I remember like you would say like, oh, who's the GOAT? This guy's the GOAT. You know what I mean?
Remember
it was always
the Times in the paper, Finch, after every game, they would have the heroes and the GOATs of every game.
That's right. They would.
You remember that?
I do.
TC, what's up, dude? Afternoons to you, sir. Straight from Aliquippa. He says, from Leedsdale to Aliquippa. That's right, baby. Beaver County representing all day. Tyrone, Steel Loyal says, my dentist is hot. She's bad as fuck. Yeah? We're Steel Loyal. Where are you at?
Give her a drilling.
I've never even had a woman dentist. I got to be honest with you, let alone a good-looking woman. Tyrone says, my doctor is hot, too. What's going on? All my doctors are old and wrinkly and
dude, we need to get out of Beaver County. This is wild, dude.
That is come on, they're gross. They're gross here. Almost like the teachers as well. All nowadays with all these female teachers.
Man, let me tell you something about that, dude. When I was a kid, there was always one good-looking female teacher. There was always the one. In my school, it was the art teacher. But now, like my daughter, she's 10. She's in elementary school, and we do have a parent-teacher, thing every few months. We'll go but every one of them is just a gorgeous. Like I don't want to say anything disrespectful. It's where these teachers weren't a thing when I was a kid. Your teachers were either these really old women who were like your grandma, or they were like guys. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Men. And nothing against those people; they were all wonderful teachers, but it was nothing to look at. I'll tell you that much.
No, we had our hottest teacher was a lady. Her face was as flat as a frying pan, and again, like for what we had, she was the hottest, the hottest thing there.
Right, like it's just by comparison.
Yes,
right.
And a lot of these teachers, they were literally there like when my parents were in school, and they were
right. A lot of my teachers taught my parents as well, and that was another part of it. Yeah, that's true.
But we had none, and not only these teachers hot nowadays, they're going after their students, and it's like what? Again, where in the world are we, guys? Let's move along a little bit here, though.
Steelers freak. She smokes a cigarette with me after my exam. That's so good. That's a great comment.
Right here, TC says the draft's gonna be mad crazy. It sure is, man. It's gonna be jam-packed. Finch, you were luckily going to the right side of the country when this is going on, because everybody's going to be migrating here. They're expecting over 500,000 people to show up down at the North Shore, at the Point, everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
It's going to be something. Let me do scoot up a little bit here to Steeler Freaks, as I can see Loyal starting at Twin Peaks, faking a toothache. Steeler Freak follows it up by saying, I have a female proctologist who has small worm fingers. Nice. Nice. Tyrone says, y'all gonna wear a jersey? Probably. I don't know what jersey, but we'll probably wear a jersey. What about you, man? Which one you wearing? Jamal, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Jamal on a terrible board. Hope things are well for you, sir. Tortilla says this. He says, Dr. Derpy. Dr. Derpy. TC says, our teachers were all, yeah, they were ridiculously old. And again, nothing like it is today. It didn't even cross our mind. I mean, we made fun. We made jokes with our friends, like, she's taking you into, she's keeping you for extra credit after class, but she was like the most hideous teacher ever. Was not good looking at all.
Go for detention, huh?
Yeah, right. You're right.
Yeah. It's true. That's how we were.
It's exactly how we were. Steeler Freak says she smoked cigarettes with me after the digital exam. Jamal says, gang, my G's, what's up, brother? What did I walk into? Steel Loyal says, I mentioned my dentist being good looking and they wish they had a good looking dentist. I wish I had a good looking anything. Nothing in my life. I must have just missed that cutoff line, guys, because again, no hot doctors, no hot dentists, no hot teachers, nothing. Where does all the hot chicks go? And as you said, Finch, if you go to school right now,
it's ridiculous.
Schools, they're full of 20s something, 30, early 30 something hot teachers.
And younger guys. It's just younger teachers in general.
Right.
Like where my daughter goes to school, I have seen maybe 2 or 3 teachers who are in their like 50s or older.
Yeah.
Even the administration, like the like all the secretaries are old, but like the principal's a young guy, the counselors are young people. It's just teaching skews very young right now in this area. I don't know if that's a sign of things, but it does seem kind of odd that it's not just my school that my kid goes to. It seems to be where your kid goes and everybody's kids are going. This must be like a trend.
It sure seems like it, man. I've certainly noticed these observations as well.
Mm-hmm.
TC says this. He goes, you have to remember our teachers didn't dress sexy. You know what? Ours didn't either.
It's true.
Ours were our age, but they still dressed like they did when TC was in school. That we were in a transition period because again, like TC was older than us. And, as we're talking about the younger generation with their hot teachers and everything, we kind of fell in that middle transition period where our teachers were ugly and they wore clothes like they were back in the 60s or 50s.
Right. Teachers, the women would wear long dresses with flowers on them,
yes.
It is what it is, man. That's styles. Everything changes as we get older. And it's wild how something as I guess trivial as who your teachers were as a kid, which we've all had teachers. We've all been to school. It's wild how things have changed.
Yeah, sure is. Let's see what's going on. Again, I can keep up on the board today, guys. I do see. I'm going to go right here. Lindsay, how you doing? Lindsay, always great seeing Lindsay on a terrible board. Hope everything is going well for you. Tortilla says that's why the kids are dumb now. They ain't learning nothing but tits. Well, what's my excuse? How the hell did I end up?
Yeah, that's how I grew up too. What are you talking about? We just didn't have it in school. We had to go, steal dad's magazines.
Yeah.
Which is also a relic of the past.
You know what? You're right. Stealing dad's magazines doesn't happen either.
Doesn't happen anymore.
Mike, you look like you've stumbled across dad's magazines a couple times. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I think good dads made it so that you would, you know what I'm saying? Like they intentionally wanted their sons to see this stuff. So, it's a lot easier slipping a magazine in and a kid learning about these things that way than it is to have a face-to-face conversation. I've thought about that before. So
they were always in the worst hiding spots ever too. Like I remember my dad kept them up on his cabinet that was in the bathroom, but you could see the magazines over the side of the hanging over the side of you know what I mean?
Yes. So my dad, it was the exact same thing at my house, dude. A cabinet in the bathroom above the toilet and the towels. And my dad always had a stack because he read like Outdoor Life magazine and Pennsylvania Game News, and like the whole stack was that. But every 10th or 12th magazine there was a
yes, absolutely, man.
And it was always like slid kind of back and maybe a little sideways. You could tell that it's been pulled out and put back in a bunch of times. You know what I mean? That's exactly how it was in our house too.
My friend's dad, he had a little, kind of like a little makeshift library, I guess. They took a room in their house and they made 2 of the walls bookshelves and they had a bunch of books in there. And he kept them right in the books. Like, I mean, you walk in up,
Can't miss it.
Out, and you couldn't miss it. I used to go over there all the time.
I'll bet you did. You know what? I can remember my friends coming over my house and hanging out in the bathroom a little bit long too.
Exactly.
It's 100% true.
100% true. No false, no lies to it all.
No beating around the bush here.
No
guys.
beating around the bush. Let me jump back on the board here. Still Loyal. He says this, you got a pretty badass beard though, Ryan. So there is that. I had that also when I was in high school. Yeah. I was called,
Ryan, your beard is epic, buddy.
What do they call a super senior? I got it on my 3rd or 4th year as a senior. Just kidding, but I appreciate that. Thank you, Still Loyal. Tasty. Oh shit. Look who it is. It is, of course, Tater Tart. Tater Tart is in the house. He says, so Joey Porter says Big Ben isn't a nice person and a bit of a loser. Good afternoon to you, or good evening, or whatever the hell it is over in the United Kingdom. Still Loyal. Tater, you're way late. Come on, Tater. What is going on with Tater? He was early every day. He was one of the first people here, Mike. Now he's got a little bit of, he's recognized, and he's kind of, showing up fashionably late. I don't know what's to do with this guy.
I was just going to say fashionably late. That's
fashionably late.
He's got that Hollywood derpy vibe about him.
He does got the Hollywood
derpy
vibe.
Whatever the fuck he feels like.
Big John Stud, middle name Mud, says, I went to kindergarten through 12 in upstate New York. My first grade teacher, Mrs. Green, was straight out of college. The seniors constantly hung around her in homeroom. How nice that must have been. I think
probably made her confidence real good. You know what I mean?
And you know what? You sat around a lot in school wishing that school was done. I think that would have changed things a little bit if had they been different with, as far as personnel, teachers being a little younger, a little better looking. Maybe it wouldn't have been as long and boring and drawn out, because it just always felt like you're just waiting for classes to be over, waiting to get out of school, waiting to be at summer break. It was just, I couldn't wait to get the hell out of school.
Yeah. As a student, I do remember we did have a few younger teachers, men and women, and I always seemed like the younger teachers related to me a lot better. When you would have conversation, whether it was about class or anything, just chatting with the teacher, I always felt more comfortable around the younger teachers. And, I think there's a lot to that, especially as a student who's just trying to get their shit done and get through school and get through the day every day. It was nice having somebody who could relate to you a little better and not feel like the old school authoritarian that most of our teachers were when we were young.
Yeah, you're right. And you're right. I mean, they were so old school that they really felt the need that they had to press on us.
Yes.
Because here we were, this new generation. We thought differently. We acted differently. And they had to really put their foot down and show us who the authority was. So, I mean, it was... and
another thing to put by you, Ryan, and maybe you had this experience as well. We are not old enough to have taken, a paddle in school.
Right.
But our parents were. And every single one of those old teachers remembered the days of when they were allowed to paddle kids. I definitely remember hearing teachers say, man, I wish they'd let us paddle them, or stuff like that too.
I just missed it, because when I was in school, they all still had the paddles sitting on the tray of the chalkboard, but they weren't allowed to use them anymore. So there was like
when I was in middle school, they had the old paddles as the homeroom passes.
Yes.
So it would be the old paddle with the holes drilled into it, and it would have the room number on there, and it would say hall pass. So when you went to the bathroom or something during class, you carried a paddle with you.
Yes, it eventually got to that as well.
Mid-90s at the Beaver Falls Middle School. That's what it was.
Let's go to Just Learning. What's up, dude? Always great seeing Just Learning on the terrible board. Just Learning says hot for teacher, Finch. A little hot for teacher.
Give me something to write on.
Classic song. Lindsay says, how was the debate, Tyrone? Chef Salad. What's up, dude? Always great seeing the Chef Salad on the terrible board. Chef Salad says, I'm 30. My teachers were old and ugly. Maybe you were just at the cutoff, because again, every teacher I see now, Finch, I would have been staring at. I would have been ogling if I would have been school.
Still, bro. We had a PTA meeting a couple months ago, and when my wife told me which teacher it was, I got legitimately excited.
Yeah.
And it was a nice experience, even though she was, berating us on how
nice
terrible we are as parents.
Finch, we have Valentine's Day.
You like to be disciplined. Okay, we learned something about Finch.
Maybe this isn't the right place to have this conversation. We'll save that for the late night show.
I'm the one who took it too far. Okay.
We do know that Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is on Saturday, Finch. Any big plans for you and the wife?
Working all day. That's pretty much the plan. Working all day.
You're saving it all for Steak and BJ Day, huh? Like last year.
March 14th, baby. Best day of the year.
That's right. Let's get back on the board, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you be. Let's go to John Skiller Freak says this. He says, In 1971, Mrs. Green dressed in go-go boots and short 70s skirts and dresses. When she bent down, I could see my future in her ass. I like it. I like it. I like that, Mrs. Green.
That is also the opening to the best short story I've ever read. You could write it, and that should be the opening. Yes.
Tater Tot says this, so your idol Big Ben is what we would call in UK a wanker. Well, you don't even want to know what we call people in UK.
You misspelled the word winner.
That's right. Steel Loyal says we stopped caring what the UK thought in 1776. Tyrone says this good. He went back and forth with other stuff as well, tried to tell me Browns had a better roster than then I almost was in tears. Also, Tyrone says I told him 7-1. TJ clears and should have won 2023 Defensive Player of the Year, of course. Steelers says Ryan was born with it's true. I was born with a beard. They yanked me out by my beard. You know, when the head pops out first, all you seen was this white beard just hanging out of my mom's vagina.
They're holding you up by a beard and they're smacking you on the booty. And
they got their yes. And they had them weird little slippers on their feet, and one got one on my mom's leg as the other one's yanking on my beard. They got me out, though. They did get me out.
They swaddled you and the beard separately.
Right.
You got a little blanket around your chin.
They sure did. Tyrone says, so guys, I follow this guy on Instagram. He does sports content and Browns fans, and he was saying that Garrett better than TJ, and I went on TikTok and debated he's cool as fuck, just delusional like Tater. And you know what? That seems like it's the case. I mean, Tater seems like a pretty decent guy. Just delusional, that's all. So, I mean, that's why I try not to hold it against him. Of course, Tater is the resident Browns fan that does come hang out on the terrible board from time to time.
And we welcome you, Tater, by the way.
He's not a Make-A-Wish. He just, he could be.
Lindsay says, my teacher, let's get an opinion from a female. Lindsay says this, my sister teaches, she had to have my sons come in and show them who was boss. Interesting. I'd like to know just some females' perspectives on the guy teachers, because again, I'm not gay, but I can tell you one thing: the guys and teachers in our school were hideous, just as hideous as the women were. I'd like to just see what some women have to say about the experience with the teachers when they were in school. I could surely, I would think they would be similar. I would. Tater says this: 1776 ? 35 million of you lot come from Ulster Scots descent. There you go.
Tater, I don't think you get the 1776.
No.
Let me tell you something about American history. Actually, you know what? You keep going, Ryan. Keep going.
Yeah. Steel Loyal says describes most Browns fans cool as fuck, but that's what I'm saying. They're very similar to us. However, they support a bad football team ridiculously,
purposely. I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Purposely. I don't even know if that's the right word, but that's what came to mind.
Because if they lived here, they'd be cool as hell. They would follow the Steelers. They know what they're talking about. But it's unfortunate they were born in Cleveland. I mean, every one of our friends, everybody has like one little personality quirk that just bugs you. Even your closest friends and family members, like when you eat the corn on the cob long ways.
I'm sorry that bugs you, but I'm sorry it digests better for me, buddy. Right. And plus, I have all this dental work.
All right.
But Tater's that guy. He's like 95% cool, and then there's just that little bit of him. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
He's that friend in the friend group that's always getting made fun of. That's
Tater. Yeah, that's Tater.
And then when you ask him, who's the person in your friend group that everybody's always making fun of? And he says, oh, they don't make fun of anybody in the group. What? And it's like it goes over his head. He doesn't realize it.
Yes, like the 1776. Let's go to John. Oh, I'm sorry. No, let's not John just yet. I'm working my way to John. Right here, TC says we were in school to learn. I knew about the paddle and felt a few. I got choked by my teacher once. They didn't even use a paddle. I was in elementary school, and my teacher choked the shit out of me. I swear to God, this really happened. You know what? I never even told anybody because I was horrified. I thought I was in elementary school, and I was the teacher. It was real weird because instead of lining the desks up like you normally would, he had them lined up like a horseshoe around the class, and out of nowhere, and he had us assigned to sit somewhere. And I wouldn't sit next to this kid, Chucky, because he was well known for farting a lot. He was a heavier kid that would fart a lot. And I said, I'm not sitting next to Chucky. And he got all up on my shit, told me to sit down. I said, I'm not sitting next to Chucky. The dude farts all the time. So he told me to go to the hall. Okay. So as he's in there yelling at the class, I'm out in the hall looking at him, and my friends are behind him making faces at me. They're like laughing and shit. So I'm like laughing back at them. Dude, he rushes out in the hall, snatches me up by my fucking neck, starts slamming me against the fucking wall.
Huh.
And then he made me write something after that 100 fucking times. I can't even remember what it was, but
and you didn't tell your parents about this?
I just don't. You know what? I just told my dad about this about a year ago.
Wow.
And he said, he's like, dude, I wish you would have said something back then.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. If that ever happened to me and my dad found out about it, people would be getting seriously hurt. Like my dad's a kind of a bruiser kind of guy who doesn't take shit. And I'm shocked that happened to you. I'm sorry that happened to you because that's jacked up, dude.
It was fucked up, dude. And you know what? It's definitely stayed with me. I mean, come on, I was a little kid, and
you learned a lesson that day. That's for sure.
I sure did. You know what I did? I seen him. I seen him somewhat recently too, and you know what? I guess I became the bigger person, but yeah, he fucked me up, dude. It was like, back in the day, we just got past the paddling stage, so it wasn't even a paddle. The dude just fucked me up.
Well, once again, that's a dude who probably took great pride in paddling students, and he wasn't allowed to do it anymore, and you just rubbed him the wrong way one day, man.
And you know what? I was 11. You know what I mean? What grown would you walk up to an 11-year-old
like fifth grade or whatever?
It was
that's
fifth
ridiculous.
grade. Would you walk up to an 11-year-old kid, grab him by his neck, and start slamming him against the wall? That's how fucking insane this was, dude. But I was just always
infuriating.
Like, it is infuriating.
It's infuriating. It really is.
Anyway, there you go. That's just part of what happened to me, I guess. Let's do
so much is making more sense about you every day.
I'm glad you said it, Finch, because I've been thinking that the whole time. You told me this story before, so it's like I know he and I have talked about it before, and I was just trying not to giggle, thinking of back to that conversation while he's telling the story. I didn't want to seem insensitive.
So I just sat in the hallway.
That's okay. I'm proud to be insensitive. Let's do this.
It's just like, I was like, man, it's like every time you think about it, you hear stuff like that, it sucks. But then my warped mind goes to, how can you make this funny?
Yeah, right, exactly.
So then you picture something totally.
How can we exploit this for entertainment?
You're like Homer choking Bart. That's what my mind goes.
That's kind of what it was like.
Trauma. You're like,
well,
I'm not being insensitive. My mind's just being retarded.
I mean, I'm this little kid. I'm crying, and all I can think of is, why is this fucking teacher choking the shit out of me? Why? What, you know what I mean?
Is that?
What is going on?
So what you're saying is he was Debo and you were Debo's baby mama. Okay.
And like I said, then he goes, what did he say? What was the word? There was a word, because I didn't understand what the word was, but it was, I will not say things that are like I was saying about Chucky farting. But there was a word, and it was definitely a word that a fifth grade kid didn't fucking know. And I had to write it 100 times, and I will not be whatever. I wish I could remember what it was. Maybe in time I'll remember, but there you go.
It'll come to you in a dream one day, and you'll write it down 100 times.
It will come during next week while we're on break, and then I'll never be able to remember it again. Generally,
then he'll be texting me nonstop. Mike, here's the word. Here's the word.
Yeah. Let's get back into the terrible board. I do want to go right here to where Corey says this. Don't drink that. Hey guys, Ryan, you asked me about the emergency broadcast logo. Yes, I am interested, guys. Of course, a lot of people may pay attention to the colors of the Super Bowl logos. And the Super Bowl logo for 60 this year, they were saying not really too much like any teams, but it had the same exact colors of the emergency broadcast system, with the pink and the yellow and the light blue. And I did bring that up to Corey. So let's see what he says. He says, I didn't know they had a commercial for full disclosure as the first Super Bowl commercial. I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. Just very curious to see what your thoughts are, man. John says this. Louisiana had the paddle at my high school. I got out of the shower once and noticed bruises. Louisiana had the paddle at my. Okay, gotcha.
They're a little behind down there, I guess, huh?
TC says this. Teachers did discipline in my day. Mark Malone says this. I had an absolute smoking hot music teacher in my school.
There we go.
Tyrone says facts loyal. He talked about was this year. I said, what about 17 through 2024? I think they're talking about. I will go back and figure out just in 1 second. Corey did say this, though. Corey said full disclosure refers to the UFO stuff. The emergency broadcast system is what they would use if they wanted to warn us of an invasion. So the logo with the commercial and the Epstein files drops. Interesting. It's becoming a crazy world. It sure is. Mark Malone, always great seeing the great Mark Malone on the terrible board. He says, I'm old as fuck. Corey says,
we're not far behind you, Mark.
We're not. We're getting there.
We're not far behind you, buddy.
Corey says that feels ominous for sure. TC says Valentine's Day is another day to me. Just another day. But March 14th, though. March 14th is a day that we all love. Steel Loyal says, I'm going to eat dinner with my dog for Valentine's Day. Yeah, that's cool.
That's very nice.
Absolutely.
That's very nice.
I'm sure your dog will appreciate it, right? I mean, let's see. Ty says, same Loyal. Yeah, he's got the same plan. Lindsay said this. I had some cute ass teachers. I know. Really?
Do tell.
Wow. Tortilla. Tater eats beans in the shower.
Does he put it on toast? Because that's a British thing, isn't it? Beans on toast.
Yeah, that's right. Beans on toast. Beans on rice cakes, maybe.
British food is just disgusting.
It's a little weird, yes. Although fish and chips, good combination. But
absolutely.
French
fries. How can you fuck that up?
What is a crumpet, though, Finch? What is a crumpet? We know that.
Isn't it like a pastry, right? Isn't a crumpet like a type of biscuit or a pastry? Also, they don't call biscuits. That's another thing. Like,
yeah, they call cookies.
What we call like saltine crackers, they refer to them as biscuits.
Yeah, right.
And what we call a biscuit would be like, like a biscuit, like a roll, like a dinner roll.
Like
they have a different name for it. I don't know. They're all wacky over there. They may have invented the language, but they certainly have not perfected it.
No.
It's in the boot of the car, governor.
You can just take your demon summoning shit right back to hell there, Mike. I don't know what you just said, but
it's in the boot of the car.
The boot of the car it is. Ty says,
I'll take the lorry.
Right. He said Sanders Pro Bowler. Laugh my yeah, come on. Still says on. Oh, there it is. Still says on toast.
This sounds like everything Tater would say.
I know. Who is you arguing with? This isn't an argument with Tater?
No, it's with someone he found on Instagram, then on TikTok he was saying. But it sounds just like Tater would say. It's like they got every Browns fan's got their marching orders from Browns HQ. Got to push Shador as a Pro Bowler. Got to push Miles Sanders, the first overall pick, being better than the 31st overall pick for one season. You got to push that narrative now.
Well, here's the thing: you got to understand they have very little. When you have, you got to.
So, I get it. When you don't have a lot, and you
they
get
have so little.
Celebrate it. So I understand where they're coming from. When I see a hair. When I get a new hair follicle popping out, I celebrate that motherfucker.
I synced it.
It's been 20 years, Mike. Let it go.
Tater says this Browns are 32nd ranked on ESPN's rankings. Wait and see us going to the dance next year. Haven't they literally been saying that since 1989? 1989 has been this claim that this is going to be their year. Next year will be the year.
1989.
Literally. 89, guys. Mark Malone says that Steel Loyal could be worse. Derpy is going to get impaled. Wait a minute, it moved on me. Derpy is going to get impaled by his aunt's strap-on.
That's like an everyday occurrence.
Tyrone says, he did say Joey Porter is him, though. At least I didn't have to get angry. Steel Loyal says there's a dance club. There's a dance in Cabo. Lindsay says, Tater, shake my head. We know the Browns are going to suck this year. And that's what I think. Sometimes you wonder to yourself, are they messing with us? The Browns fan, you know what I mean? Like, okay, we're Pirates fans.
Yeah.
That's like talking shit to a Yankees fan. Like, we be doing it just to jag at them. You know what I mean? To kind of mess with them. It makes you wonder if that's how Browns fans are. Like, I mean, obviously.
But, Pirates fans, you do see a lot of Pirates fans in the stands at those games with signs saying sell the team and all this shit. You don't see that at Browns games. Browns games, they're dressed up like dogs. They're hooting and hollering, and they're having a great time watching their guy get 5 sacks a game in a 42-3 loss.
Mm-hmm.
And they are delusional enough to think that they will be competitive, that they are a competitive franchise, that they're actual important franchise within the NFL. This is the level of delusions that Browns fans have. Like, you can write the history of the NFL without the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, you can.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you have you got Jim Brown,
which
wonderful player, one of the greatest of all time, no doubt about it.
Hold on,
the
team. That's all they had, exactly.
Listen, if I'm Jim Brown and I'm playing against 11 white guys who are about half my size and about a third of my athleticism, I like my chances. I'm just saying, if Jim Brown would have played in a stage where there was more
in the parlance of his times,
right? If
he was absolutely great, yes.
With people that had equal or greater athletic ability, he certainly was a product of his time. Not taking anything away from Jim Brown, he did great, but still, it's always fun to take shots at Cleveland. So that is what we're doing.
Yeah.
At least Pirates fans are self-aware, whereas the Browns are not.
That's true. Steel Loyal says maybe he means the dance clubs in Cancun. Let's see. Steel Loyal, I'm sorry. Tyrone says, Lindsay, how's the couch? And you know what else is funny about this? the couch. I think Tater Tot thinks he's going to come over to the draft and sleep on Lindsay's couch just because he recommended he wants to hang out with somebody that has boobs when he's here. Well, we assigned him Derpy instead. He is going to be staying. Tater Tot is going to be staying at Derpy's house, staring at those boobs for 3 days during the draft. How do you like that, Mike?
I think that is fair. We need to do whatever we need to do to keep Lindsay safe from Tater Tot.
Yes,
absolutely.
So I have no problem letting mischief and misfortune befall Derpy. So he's a great sacrificial lamb. Those dirt pillows are going to be perfect for Tater Tot.
And you know what else? Derpy could probably use the self-esteem boost of some nice compliments from our British friend as well. So
yeah.
All right. I think this could work out. Let's see. Let me scoot up here. I require luxury, Lindsay says. Lindsay requires luxury. Hey,
you've come to the wrong fucking place, Lindsay. Let me
Still Loyal. Still Loyal says this Tater makes some mean beans on toast at Lindsay. There you go. There's your beans on toast, Finch.
I would try it. Hey man, I like food. I like to try all kinds of food. You make me some good beans on toast, Tater. Maybe we still can be friends.
Tortilla says Derpy does not count as a cushion. Lindsay says Steel. Tater says this: no such thing as luxury in Schittsburg, I'm told. Also, I mean, we are unfortunate we don't have kings and queens and all that weird shit. But anyway, let's do scoot along. What I heard, the queen doesn't even do anything. Well, obviously she's dead now, but the king, does he do anything? The king don't do anything.
It's all ceremonial.
Yeah, it's all ceremonial.
Well, I mean, even like Queen Elizabeth, when she was much younger, she was well-traveled. She would travel all over the world and do, public speaking events, and she would,
Well, yeah, but they do.
The king doesn't do none of that. Charles don't do any of that.
King don't do anything.
No, yeah, but even still, like, she just went out and talked, but she had no power.
No, she had no power. Right. Well, when she first became the queen, she still had her empire, so we'll give her that. But that was so long ago, so displaced from now. Yeah, the king now, he's just a figurehead. He's just somebody to put on the money and to say that, hey, that's our guy, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And I can do without it.
Lindsay says, we have luxury here. I create my own. That's the way to do it. Chef Salad says this. Remember the 50s, they had wives at 14. That's right. Burn, Still Loyal says, Ty says this, as I'm in Ohio, Cleveland ain't it. As I'm in Ohio, Cleveland ain't it, my guy. When I went to the game, it smelled like fish. It does. It has a smell. And they got those midgets.
We talked about this before on the show here, because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Science Center is all right there on the bay next to the stadium. And when you walk across the Riverwalk there, the view is nice until you look at the water, because there's always millions of dead fish floating there. I believe they're called shads, and it fucking stinks up the whole riverfront area. It's horrendous.
John says, do we chase Derpy? Yes, you guys chase Derpy off. You guys, everybody on the board.
You definitely, you guys. It wasn't Ryan and I.
I was pumping up Derpy up yesterday in the chat. I said, we got to get all four of us here. I want to have a full show, Derpy. Come on, be here. And he never replied. So that tells me that our friends in the chat here.
They seem to be the problem.
They.
But you know what? Don't change, guys.
No,
they did their best to save his job.
They did. They did. They truly did.
That is true. I was here. I remember this.
This is how Derpy repays you. Tortilla says he can't get that far. Tater says mom's joke. Mom jokes again. They're mama jokes. They're yo mama jokes, man. Stop calling them mom jokes.
They are. If you're a victim of a yo mama joke, that means you've been accepted amongst the group.
Correct.
At least I got to be honest with you. At least he's not spelling it MUM anymore. I could give him credit because he's moving in the right direction. He's still on mom jokes.
The thing is though,
mum is a flower.
Mum, I hear that all the time from Yinzers.
When I'm talking about my mom, I say mom. I call my mom, but you don't call
your mom all
Mike. Mike, listen. He's saying mom jokes. Your mama jokes is what he's talking about.
Oh, mom. Yeah,
nobody ever says nobody ever says mom jokes.
Mom jokes. Yeah. Okay. I got you now.
Let's see what else we got going on here. She asked about me. Tyrone or Tortilla says. Lindsay says, mom jokes so rude. Tortilla just learning. Happy Valentine's to all the babes. Save some for us. Just learning. Damn. Let me scoot up a little bit right here. Tater says, haven't heard mom jokes since high school. I've never heard a mom joke but I've certainly heard my share of Yo Mama
jokes. Yes. I actually had a book of Yo Mama jokes.
Yeah, me too.
Growing up, like a joke book. It was like meant for kids, but it was a Yo Mama jokes. So it was like clean mom jokes. And tell you what, me and all my friends, we quoted that book to each other for years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus, what are you going to say about an English person's mom anyway?
She has all of her teeth.
All her teeth.
She's the freak.
Yo, mom. Yeah, you got to do it do it in the accent, Finch.
Your mama burns her beans. Your mom's fish smells like chips.
Still
I took a peek at your mom's London Underground.
I seen your mom's channel.
I rode your mom's channel the whole way to France.
Still loyal said there's only one babe in this chat and she bites. I don't know if she bites, but let's move along here. It's Tyrone. Tyrone says be nice to the clowns. Steeler Freak says Finchy, it was 78-82. It was common back then.
Yeah, I mean that's when my mom and dad were in high school, and they have stories as well of teachers and paddlings and all that stuff. So yeah.
John also says those Super Bowl colors were for those players who are light in the cleats, light in the cleats. Chef Salad said scones. They got the scones. That's right.
Scones. Good. That's a good one. The scones, they're good.
These people with their tea, they just never give up on the tea. It's been hundreds of years with this tea.
I like my tea with a little bit of sugar and iced, please.
I mean, I like tea as much as the next guy, but with these people,
yeah, the everyday thing. Yeah,
I like my tea in the harbor because I'm an American.
That's why I like my tea.
I like my tea floating.
Mark Malone says this British food does suck balls. Also, let me scoot down here. Tyrone says my junior year, Miss Bauman was fine. See, I had none. Not one single teacher my whole life was ever good looking. It's just not even. It's not me being funny either. There's no good looking women in my school as far as teaching.
And you went to school in Monaca, and I don't think good looking women's really a thing about Monaca either. To be honest with you,
just coming from get out of here, you maniac.
Right. Considering where I went to school, right?
Right. Tortilla says this bro trying to act like he don't remember the last Yo Mama joke. Tater says this Americans commenting on other countries' foods. Interesting. Mark Malone says the deal hole calls windshields windscreens too. Ty says this. I swear Mike felt that too. Shit had me dead. Laughed my ass off. John says if you want to piss off a Brit, ask him what part of Australia he's from. Hey Tater Toe, what part of Australia are you from?
How's life in the Outback?
How's life in the Outback?
You gonna throw another shrimp on a barbie? Yeah.
Let's look right here. Vegas says fight fans from England don't shower enough. When a big fighter from England would fight here the place would stink. What's up, Vegas? Always great seeing Vegas all the way from Vegas. Tater says this, not gonna lie, it's hard being a Browns fan. There you have it, everybody. Finally,
that's the smartest thing you've said today so far.
That is the smartest thing I've ever heard a Browns fan say in my life.
And the most honest.
Wow.
Spoken like a true Pirates fan is what that is right there. That is self-awareness, Tater. And you know what? I applaud the self-awareness. I applaud.
Yeah, you very rarely see that level of self-awareness from a Browns fan. And exactly. Tip of the cap.
That is incredible. All right, that's why we respect Tater. I think he might be the smartest Brown fan alive.
It doesn't take a whole lot.
We have the smartest Browns fan on our terrible board, guys. Tater, that is going to be what you're known for from now on. I mean, come on, that was really intelligent.
All I can think of is the line from Waitings. Wow, Monty, you're the coolest guy at Shenanigans. That's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome.
Exactly. What a classic film, by the way. Oh, the goat. Oh.
Lindsay says, I bet it is. Vegas says, don't ask them what they call cigarettes.
I read that a second ago.
And you know what's funny about that? That is the one thing that we all knew about.
We all knew about that in school.
You know.
Yeah, you heard it all the time.
No, I didn't say that. I said you're a cigarette or a bundle of wood.
We would say that too. Yep. Stop being a cig. We would
Stop being a sig.
Stop being a sig. You're such a sig.
Tater says this.
Like if you don't know.
Look at this. He says, look, at Freak, we own Australia, you numpty. We sent our own convicts there. You numpty.
That was like 200 years ago, bro. Live in the now.
You numpty. Dragging a what? Tortilla says. Dragging that cigarette, you are. Dragging a cigarette. Tyrone says, at least you admit it. Vegas, Ohtani is better than the Babe. I agree 100%.
Once again, what we said earlier about Jim Brown, it's the parlance of the times.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think Ohtani might be the best baseball player ever.
He
John
is something else, bud.
You know, in this age, to do those kind of things that they did back in the day when, again, everybody was just white average and non-athletic, the fact that he comes into the league at this highest level that it is today and pitches and shuts people and no-hitters and home runs. I mean, come on.
He is a once-in-a-generational player, and he will, I think you're right, Ryan. He'll go down as one of the greatest baseball players and one of the greatest professional athletes to ever play on this continent.
I'd agree.
He's
John
wonderful.
says this Browns fans are like those terminally ill cancer patients who are still partying after chemotherapy. Hey, you know
a little dark. Not off base, but
I don't like.
Tater Todd says, "Oh my God, bashing Jim Brown." Well, I mean, he wasn't even in the Super Bowl era.
Once again, he was the best player of his time.
He was the best player of his time. I could agree.
Best player of his time, and hey, man, if he even his physical attributes are still impressive compared to guys today. I am fully confident if Jim Brown grew up today and was playing today, he had the same drive and the same physical ability, then he would still be a good player. He would not dominate the way that he did then. Because a lot of it's mental, man. A lot of it's mental. And he
might be about he would be like Derrick Henry.
He'd be a very good, solid running back. He would not be a team savior as he currently is with the Browns.
Vegas says Babe's career high in stolen bases was 17, and he stole 123 bases and was caught stealing 117 times.
That's a great stat.
Party at Lindsay's, Tyrone is saying. Lindsay says Lindsay's is closed. Lindsay's is closed, guys. No party at Lindsay's. Vegas
I was going to bring the hors d'oeuvres.
Well, speaking of hors d'oeuvres, Vegas says this Derpy orders avocado toast with no avocado. There you go.
Because it's green. Derpy doesn't eat green food.
The boneless milkshake. Still loyal say Mark Malone says bunch of inbreds. Tater says this. I kind of disapprove of the royal family. I pay my taxes so they can live in luxury.
I think a lot of British people feel that way, Tater. I'll be honest with you. That's and if I were living in your country, I feel like I'd probably think the same thing.
I mean, that's the same with government, and I mean, it's no different anywhere else. Just
but at least the government is working. Whereas the king is not even working at all. At least the government Congress shows up and does what they're supposed to do most of the time. I will give that a little tiny bit of credit to our system. Whereas, and they have that in Britain with Parliament, but we're talking about the king here.
Our government seems to have a lot of free time.
We have a lot of free time on our hands too. But let me tell you what, they don't have the kind of money and free time that the king has.
Has the king been to Epstein Island? Has the king been to Epstein Island? I wonder.
His son has.
Let's move along. Chef Salad said this, since he's no better.
Brother. I meant to say brother, not son. Excuse me.
Also, John says the king of England is fighting cancer. He got fucked because his mother lived too long. He should have used the pillow.
Oh, what a line. What a line.
That's what they would have done back in the day.
Vegas says, do your Baskin Robbins ice cream shops have chicken and waffles ice cream? Let's scoot up a little bit more. We are going to get into our Steelers guys today.
Good.
Today we are taking a little off today. We're just going to take it easy. We're going to get into our Steelers in just a moment. I don't want to get too far behind on the board. I'm going to try to keep up as much as possible today. But we're just going to kind of hang loose today. We're going to get into a lot of the Steeler drama here in a couple minutes. We have a lot of, matter of fact, a bunch of things we're going to get into. Just bear with me here for a couple more minutes so I could keep up on the board. I'm going to go right here to Tortilla. Tortilla says it's called Baskin Stabbins. Baskin Stabbins over there in the United Kingdom. Vegas says Derpy is current taste testing his breast milk. He's currently tasting his breast milk. Tyrone says this. All right, let's go. Steeler business. It is. It's about that time, isn't it? It's about time to get into the Steeler business. Let me grab a couple more here, and we will do just that. Steel Loyal says, "Bonning the bean, isn't it?" Steeler Freak says this. Derpy's breast lactate vegan protein shakes. Vegas says we would go to school and quote the Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor comedy specials.
Yes, that got thrown around a lot for us.
Tortilla says mama jokes at Hogwarts be like. Ty says this is a question for you three in the board. What's 3 things y'all want to happen this offseason? We'll get to that in just one second.
Question.
Jamal says I got paddled and cried like a little bitch afterwards. And dude, you know what? I same with me. I sat in the hallway and just cried and wrote something 100 times. It was insane. I don't like anything gray, Chef Salad says. Also, Lindsay says, you guys are killing me today. Steeler Freak says, I like my teabagging, baby. I like my teabagging. Somber says this.
We do not judge.
Rodgers retires, Isaac retires, and Ramsey gets traded. That's his 3 things that he would like to see this offseason. Vegas says, fun fact, Dawn the Con has mentioned more times in the Epstein files than Harry Potter is in all 7 books. Tater Tot says this: 95% of Australians are related to a murder. Fact? Related to a murder? What does that even mean?
Because the prison colony of Australia is how it became so. Why all the people that live there now who are of British descent are descended from convicts is what he's saying.
Chef Salad said this: I'm a Reds fan. I feel you. Vegas says I'm a terrible Pirates fan. I haven't been to a game played since they were at Three River Stadium. Steel Loyal says I don't think any of that happens. To be honest, that Somber says it is, but he said 3 things y'all want to happen, and we're gonna get to ours. Go right here. I'm gonna go. Ty says not J-Ram. Somber 1 more season. Now you can go. Somber doesn't like that idea. Let's get to it, guys. Let's get into some Steeler talk. As I said, it's going to be a nice, easy day today, guys. We're going to just casually get through this stuff, go through it. And as I said, I want to stay up on the board. I'm not going to be too crazy. Let's get into some things, though. Finch, of course, yesterday we talked a lot about what went down earlier in the day with
Jay Peasy.
What started out with Big Ben making comments about Mike Tomlin and Debo even making comments about Mike Tomlin. So Jay Peasy, he gets on Cam Hayward's show yesterday, and he makes all the comments that you heard. You know, Ben is foul. Ben is this. Ben isn't quite the guy that people thinks that he is. Well, here's my thing. I want to know. I mean, if you're going to say that, tell us some stuff. If being foul is not signing an autograph for Chris Hoke's kid or for Aaron Smith's kids, that's not foul. Okay, it's kind of being a dick. But on the other hand, we want to know what the foul stuff is.
What is the definition of foul in this situation?
Right. I would like to know, because, again, if you're going to say that much, you might as well tell us what the hell you're talking about. Because, again, if it's about not signing somebody's autograph, that's a terrible thing to accuse.
I think there are a lot of celebrities who could be accused of being foul for something like that.
Absolutely. So, again, I'm very interested. I want to see where this goes next. I think Ben will probably get on his podcast and kind of
defend himself a little.
I think he'll defend himself slightly, but totally play it off. Where I think Debo, I didn't catch, or I don't even know when his show is live, but I can't wait to hear what he has to say in response as well, as there are a bunch of former Steelers getting in, giving their opinions both ways, one way or another. Yesterday during the show, while Jay Peasy was making the comment, you had Mason Rudolph, you had other Steelers jumping in, making their comments and giving their opinions on the situation. However, I'm just trying to think. So Peasy basically is saying you're breaking a code, while Ben was just saying that Mike Tomlin got easy on the players as time went on. What code was broke, Mike? What am I missing?
A lot of players don't like it when they don't like it when players start to leak out anything from the locker room. Like, you keep it all in house. It's family business. It's no one else's business. Keep it in house. You can say, hey, it's time for something to move on. You don't start taking people. You don't peel back the curtain. Okay. It's, like that old school wrestling mentality and old school sports mentality of we keep certain things private for a reason. The locker room is the locker room. That is our sacred space. Don't hit on anything coming from there. But once you do, know that you're going to open yourself up to, okay, you want to open stuff up? We can open it up on you too. And these might be little barbs coming out as a warning shot of like, this is, hey, we might know actually what happened with those 2 allegations and some other stuff that people don't even know about. That's what I'm thinking. The foul was a part of. And then there's the other stuff that, it's, we'll talk about some of this stuff right here. So I think these might be warning shots of like, hey.
I knew that he was easy on players. I've been saying it for 10, 15, almost 20 years. What secrets was let out of this family that wasn't supposed to be let out by Big Ben? Everything that I read have been things that I've been saying for years. Is just him confirming what people have been saying? Is that the secret? Is that what the cat was let out of the bag? Again, I mean, this is foul stuff that made the other people say that start going against Ben's character. Again, there was nothing said outside of what half of Pittsburgh already thought. What was the big information that was leaked by this break of brothers code?
I think this Porter just doesn't like stuff that was done in the locker rooms or behind closed doors in the business. You don't need to talk about it, but if you do, you're going to open yourself up to attack. So, and then Porter did what he did, and it's funny too because Porter never played for Tomlin.
I was just going to say he's never played for Tomlin. What's the problem? How can he sit here and defend the coach if he's never played for the coach?
Well, he worked. He doesn't know. Too,
so I mean, if these people were if he was being more lenient on people, and Porter wasn't involved in the locker room, I wouldn't even think that this is his field to comment on it. Maybe somebody else that was involved, but Porter, I think it's pretty weird.
Well, Porter was also a teammate with Ben too, so he saw him from when he was a rookie, then came back as a coach, saw him as an older player too. So he's seen a lot too to know, like, hey, you want to talk some stuff, we can talk some stuff, and you might not like what comes out about yourself from it. So, like you don't have to always talk about what was happening in your locker room and stuff. Just because once you do, you open yourself up for people to come out and say shit that they have seen. And you see a lot of players through likes and little offhand comments like agreeing with what Porter said. And there's a lot of guys that don't have that unfortunately people are like, oh, you were just a backup. Why are you saying anything? Oh, he won the Super Bowl, so he can do and say whatever he wants. Like,
so the coach,
that's kind of a dick move. So these guys.
So Ben makes a comment about the coach about being more lenient on younger players, and we've seen it over time. I always make the comment: why aren't people playing in preseason? Why aren't people playing? I've kind of talked about the leniency of the coaching staff over time. How does that correlate into talking about how somebody's is foul and somebody is not a good person? You see what I'm saying? He's basically pointing out some things that happened with the team, and the backlash was about him personally. You see what I'm saying? Was it a warranted response? Is it peasy just being peasy because that mouth? I mean, we watched him play for 8 years. I mean, is that what it was? Because again, it almost seems like Ben was making this comment, whether it be something that they talk about in and out of the locker room. He was saying something that I felt was very obvious. And again, Porter to come back and attack his character while Ben was talking about Tomlin being more lenient on younger players as time went by. Those don't really seem like the same thing to me. So if Ben would turn around and start saying something about Porter personally, I don't think that would be more warranted than Porter coming in and attacking Ben, especially since, again, Porter never played a down under Coach Tomlin.
And a thing too with Porter, like he said in that interview, is like you guys are gonna say something about Tomlin, knowing that one, he would never use any platform he ever has to say anything bad about a former player. And if you guys want to say some things that you saw behind closed doors, he's not going to say anything. So Porter's like, I'm thinking in his mind is like, I'm going to stick up for this guy since we know he won't do it, and I'll say what I saw.
And he really didn't see. I mean, he didn't see much. A little bit, like you said, he kind of came back and he was assistant coach. But as far as it was even there when Aaron Smith was on the team.
Yeah,
was he even JP? Was he around when Chris Hoke was there? So I mean, if this stuff all goes back to his most early stages, I could agree he was an asshole at his early stages. Mike, we've seen issues with Ben early on. Mm-hmm. Why wasn't that point being made? It really made him sound like he was just an asshole through and through, and that's the way that came off to people. And again, at the end of the day, it was more of a personal attack than what Ben did, saying that Coach became more lenient on his players. So again, I'm just trying to figure out myself what's going on. To me, it seems like this conversation could or could not have happened. I mean, it all comes down to if Joey Porter wants to open his mouth and say something about it. But at the end of the day, I don't know what was wrong. If it's breaking a brotherhood, and then you know what, I'm breaking the brotherhood too, because again, I've called out for years and years that the team has been pretty lenient. And again, I don't know if that equals one to the other. Finch, what's your thoughts?
To me, this sounds like playground bullshit.
It is absolutely.
When you were a kid, like I think we've all done this or been a victim of this. You get into an argument with a friend or a foe or whatever at school, and they say something to you, and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't like the way that you said this or did that." And you say, "Oh, you know what? I don't like the way that you do this or do that. This," and then they come back with, "Well, you know what? Your mom is fat." That's what it reminds me of. It's like that sort of thing. Like they're taking some sort of argument between them and then adding in a layer of this personal bullshit that has nothing to do with the argument. And it's just, all it's going to do is make everybody on both sides look childish.
It's just, that's where we are today. The internet gives us that platform that we can all.
You're 100% right. It brings out the worst in everybody. It turns us all into children sometimes when we're trying to defend something. I mean, if Porter wants to defend Mike Tomlin and that's perfectly within his right, and I'm sure he has some good points to make. Tomlin was a very long tenured coach that a lot of people liked, and I get it. At the same time, though, who played more downs for Mike Tomlin than Ben Roethlisberger? Who spent more time in that locker room as a player underneath Coach Tomlin? There's nobody except for Big Ben. So I would find that any opinion he has concerning the locker room and how things evolved or devolved over his time there are valid things. Should he bring that up in conversation? That's arguable. But if the conversation warrants it and somebody asks Ben, what does he think about Mike Tomlin's locker room? And he's perfectly within his rights to say what he wants to say, as long as he's telling the truth.
As long as absolutely. I mean, he was asked and he said what he
gave
thought.
Him what he thought. Sure.
And
Debo didn't like, or excuse me, not Debo, Porter didn't like it. And basically he, well, you know what? You're a big poo-poo face. I mean, that's basically what it sounded like.
You're right. That's what I get to. And I'm looking. Let me ask you this, guys. Now, we saw this. We watched this little tiff play out, and I'm looking in the comments. And should Mason Rudolph jumped in on the comments and say go off? Should Mike Adams jump in and give his should these people have kind of kept their mouth shut? Should this have been between Ben and Joey Porter? Because this is going to turn into a toxic situation.
Yes,
and if they allow it, and again, these other people chiming in. Now we're saying that Ben should have just kind of kept his mouth shut and to keep the peace. It wouldn't make sense if again, Mason Rudolph, what does it benefit for him to jump in on a side one way or the other? Doesn't that kind of give you the sign that this has more of an opportunity to turn toxic than anything? I mean, we could all now start shooting off our mouths and our opinions about everybody because it's wide open. Basically, is what I'm seeing by these players. Should these players let the two go at it and then let this all move on? Again, at the end of the day, it was what Ben's seen, and again, who played for Tomlin longer than Ben and more than Ben. So for everybody to jump in and jump on Ben's character for what he's seen in that period of time, I just don't. Again, I don't know if it was a smart thing for Mason Rudolph and Mike Adams and Banner and everybody else that jumped in with their opinions one way or another. Don't you feel that could prolong this and make this even more toxic than it may already be?
Absolutely, it could. I mean, what do these guys have anything to do with this conversation in the first place? Nothing.
Go off. I mean, go off, JPZ.
I feel people want to defend opinions of other people. I get that. It's one thing to say, "Hey, you know what? He made a point." It's another thing to say, "Oh yeah, and on top of that, there was this and this and this and this and this and this," and that's what creates these toxic situations. You're absolutely right, Ryan. It's especially for players that are current, like Mason Rudolph, who is on the team right now, even though it's not under Tomlin anymore. That's other people in the locker room are going to look at him now and think, man, if I do or say the wrong thing around Mason, he's going to go public with it. I don't want to deal with a player like that.
Why involve yourself if it wasn't involved? It had nothing to do with you. And now that was he's still in the active locker room.
Exactly.
So again,
that's a bad move.
I agree.
It's a bad look, man. And
the thing is that everyone is forgetting that part of the conversation was how Ben was a bad teammate, and who more to know that if he was a bad teammate or not than the guy who was the victim of Ben's bad behavior towards him than Mason Rudolph, being totally dismissive of him as a teammate, as a person, not caring, not doing teammate things to help him grow, to help so Mason would be prepared and the team would be prepared if anything happens to Ben. Mason Rudolph, Ben hated him because he was drafted. They drafted him in the third round. Ben saw that as an attack on him and took out his anger and frustration on Mason Rudolph. So why wouldn't Mason Rudolph go, like what Porter said? Because he saw it firsthand. He literally saw and felt Big Ben being the bad teammate to him.
And I agree with that, but also,
like, yes, Porter, yes, this is what happened. And, there's nothing wrong with going, yes, go off. That's what happened. These guys
you're right. There's nothing wrong with it, but again,
nobody asked Mason Rudolph.
Nobody asked him. Exactly. I'm sure there's other people that could said plenty of good things. As a matter of fact, Antonio Brown, he comes out and says, "Big Ben, a great teammate, one of the best, one to ever have. You got to learn, you got to earn his respect before he opens up. Coming in talking won't get his attention. I take it from a 6th round and take that from a 6th round draft pick. There's people that have good things to say, and there's people that have bad things to say. But Ben is now he's foul. He's this. He's that. Do you see how this created something about him personally? When the other thing again was about the way the person that was handling their job. And again, this is where it becomes toxic. And
they took a professional conversation and made it a personal conversation in a way that it didn't need to be in the context of that said.
And when it becomes personal, that's when I think Mason Rudolph should have probably peeled back. When it was professional, I think he could have jumped in and said anything he wanted. But as he started to take stabs at Ben, I think that's when Mason Rudolph probably shouldn't have got involved.
It's a bad look, and it will come back to harm him.
Professionally, Mike, he could have certainly responded.
And professionally for Mason Rudolph, yeah. If someone is making your job difficult purposely, that's not only that crosses the line of professionalism into personal towards you.
When people make your job difficult, maybe they're just trying to make you better.
By being a
fine
bad
line.
Teammate,
It is a fine line. Absolutely,
that's not.
I know every time I was ever in a successful situation, I had somebody over me making it harder because they wanted to succeed more and they wanted to bring it on.
When I've ever had good bosses, they've made it to where I want to go and work for them. I want to do the work and I can succeed.
Well, the millions of dollars I think would be the catalyst in this situation. I think you're doing your dream job for millions of dollars should be the motivation in this particular situation. That's just my opinion.
Purposely being a dick to someone. And then
you've never been a dick to anybody? Let me ask you, Mike, you've never been a dick to anybody?
What?
You've never been a dick to anybody?
At work? No. When I have to be a boss? No.
Do what you want with that, everybody. Mike has never been a dick to anybody. There you go.
All right. No, not at my job. No, not when I have to.
Okay.
When I'm someone's boss. No, because
Ryan, you're instigating.
Go ahead. I'm just trying to.
No.
Nobody's never been a dick to anybody. That's what I'm saying.
We all have our bad days. We all have our bad days.
Mike has never been a dick to anybody in 44 years of in his job.
Maybe the question.
And I'm a boss.
Maybe the question be: has he been a malicious?
I'm not going to argue. I'm just saying. Make your own opinion.
No, I'm not a dick to my team. Like when it's time to be, to be the boss. No.
All right. There you go, everybody. Mike is the most perfect boss ever.
No, I'm not perfect, but I don't want to I don't treat people the way I don't want to be treated. Mm-hmm. I'm going to treat them the way I want to be treated.
Go ahead.
Fair.
So I'm not going to be a dick to them.
Fair enough. All right. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on.
No, I wasn't getting fired up.
No, I wanted to give you your opportunity.
Vince is down there trying to instigate shit.
I just wanted to give you your opportunity. I didn't want to cut you off. I was.
You know what?
And you know what? And there you go, everybody. You can
go. Mike, you know what, Mike?
You just made the list.
You just made the list.
God damn it. Now I can't get the screen back the way I want it.
That's what you get.
All right. Let's move on, everybody. Let's see.
I've always pictured you as more of a bottom anyway.
Hey, $20, $20, big boy.
What else do we got here? Do you guys want to hear something here? Well, let me see real quick. Here's something that this person named Yinsberg Adam had on X, guys. They wrote Cam Hayward, a.k.a. Mr. Leak Everything. Leak every single thing behind closed doors to the media, has been more worried about his ESPN career than football for a very long time. Are we ready for Cam Hayward to get the hell out of our face? Anybody else ready for Cam to be done here with this team? I am. And again, Mike, we've been saying it for years. I mean, the guy is almost 40 years old. Yes, he brought pretty good efforts the past season and a half. I am not denying, but is Cam getting on anybody else's fucking nerves?
On this thing right here, when I watched it, Cam didn't do anything wrong, in my opinion. He didn't say anything bad about Ben. He didn't say anything bad about Debo. He let someone on his show say what he needed to say and did it in a setting appropriately. Like this is outside of the team. He didn't bash any teammates. No, I had no problem with the way Cam conducted himself during this whole thing. He wasn't egging anyone on. I had no problem with it. I think, it is time for Cam to go because I think his on-field production is going to start to drop soon. It's going to have to stop at some point.
And it won't
work. He had a hell of a year. For me, this would be the year, like, Cam, go out on top. You had a damn good year, go out now. But for this to happen right here, no. And this right here, the whole thing going on, this whole drama, it's finding out, oh, I like this player better than this player, so I'm going to support them no matter what is going on. Oh, Ben won 2 Super Bowls, so therefore he's more important than Porter. He's more important than Cam, who hasn't won anything. We're ranking guys based on their on-field accomplishments in this argument is what it feels like. But I had no problem with what Cam did here. I really never hear him say anything bad about the team.
Mike, don't you want a 23-year-old athletic kid who really wants to fight and work hard to get to the quarterback instead of a 40-year-old guy?
I saw,
who doesn't have to practice.
Who doesn't have to practice? Who
basically I thought Cam played better than the 23-year-old YA Black, so I'd rather have Cam now. But I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. I know in
that particular train of thought, though, we might as well just keep Aaron Rodgers and Cam and all. It doesn't matter that they're aging. We should just continue to give them money and continue to be where we've been forever because we haven't gone younger and haven't brought the age down our team, and this has been the results. So if this coach comes in like with this particular team and has the same exact results, will people start to decide or start to agree that we might have to start making some changes with this team?
We have to make some changes. I'm okay if they let Cam go. If they keep him on though, but I do want them to draft 1 or 2 more young defensive linemen so Cam can be a rotational piece in that defense, be fresher and more productive as the season goes on. I still think there's a place for him, even at the salary he's making. Like I said, if you're paying him $19 million a year, I'll be okay with that. He's not going to break the cap with the amount of room that we have to add players.
I'm kind of looking forward here to one of RB's comments. I'm just wondering, he's just a player, just having a podcast. But what happens when just a player, just having a podcast, and something happen like this, something like this comes along and happens and creates a bunch of problems and creates issues? And again, Ben says this. I noticed while I was there for 18 years that Coach T got more lenient on his players. And now this platform is given to where Porter came in and started saying, and then still I don't know why he's foul. I'm still waiting. I want to hear the scoop, the juicy scoop, because if not signing autographs for Chris Hoke's kid is foul, then God, I'm probably Satan at this point. But you know what I'm saying? So Cam basically inherently being the reason why this is all going on. And it's also, as Finch was saying, it's something that's even expanding into the locker room with Mason Rudolph jumping in. And again, he has every right. I'm not saying Mason Rudolph doesn't have the right to say anything that he wants, but again, you can see how this could cause problems within the locker room and make it a toxic situation. Where Cam, at the end of the day, if it wasn't on his podcast, this would not be happening. We would not be talking about it. I'm not saying that Cam shouldn't have a podcast. I'm not saying that Cam shouldn't have Joey Porter on. I'm not saying that Joey Porter shouldn't comment on these things. I'm just saying, isn't this some way, shape, or form without Cam's show? We wouldn't be in this position. Therefore, we possibly could be avoiding some of the issues that may be coming up in toxic situations wise within the locker room.
Porter would have said that no matter whose show he was on.
I mean, he's done many shows.
He's a legendary runner of the mouth. Yeah,
absolutely.
This probably would have came up somewhere anyway. I don't think it's really Cam's fault because Cam wasn't really instigating that sort of response.
And he wasn't, absolutely not. But what I'm saying is this: what if Ben comes out now and starts springing up personal stuff about Porter?
What if?
Right? Is that warranted for him to come in and start talking about, you went and got yourself in a situation in Colorado and got shot in the ass. Your dog's
bit you in right.
Your dog ate a dingo or whatever the hell it ate. Yeah. So would it be warranted now for Ben to come out and start throwing shade and start saying personal things about Porter?
If Ben wants to remain classy, then that's what he needs to do, is not say those sort of things.
My thing is, how is ex-players talking shit on each other? How is that affecting the actual locker room of
Because when Mason Rudolph chimes in, listen, let me say this.
You're right having old guys
argue. Right. Because there might be somebody on the team that disagrees with what Mason said. Maybe they felt that this was the way that Tomlin did handle things. So now Mason, who is in your locker room presently, makes this comment, and people who disagree with him on the comments initially about Tomlin could still also be in the locker room. Right. Therefore, Mike, I'm not saying that it's going to. I'm just saying could potentially create a toxic situation where it certainly shouldn't be happening in that locker room.
And it alienates Mason from other players as well.
Sure
because
does.
Now people aren't going to want to have personal dealings with Mason Rudolph.
I wouldn't tell him shit.
They want to be friendly. I wouldn't tell him a fucking thing.
No, I wouldn't tell him shit.
So Mason Rudolph, who we have seen this team consistently rally around this guy. You don't think he's ever had conversations with these guys about his entire experience?
Yeah, I'm sure he has, Mike. But now that he has said something in a public space for everybody to see in a different beef, if I was working with Mason every day, if I was a player on the team next to him, I would look at him a little side-eyed now and think, man, what if I say or do the wrong thing now and 5 years from now this asshole tweets about it? Like, you know what I mean? I think that might be how current players might look at this situation. I'm not saying you're wrong, Mike. I'm just saying if I was a player working with Mason right now, I would be really turned off that he said what he said, not exactly of the content of what he said, but the fact that he said it, anything at all.
By saying go off. By going heart and go off.
That's all it takes sometimes, man. That's all it takes to bruise these fragile egos.
Those guys are frail and fragile psyches that might not make it in the NFL. Because you're hearing a lot worse.
They're human beings. What are you going to do?
They're human beings. That's right.
So
that would be a sign like you guys are soft. Like you can't just come to me and have a conversation. Hey, what happened?
Mike, you really can't break down 8 billion different people and decide who's soft and who isn't. The fact of the matter is we're all here. We're trying to get along. And
just the fact that Mason made one public comment is enough to turn some people's heads who are currently in that locker room. And they might deal with Mason, talk to Mason, and treat Mason a little differently now because he made that comment. I think that's complete human nature.
53 different men in that locker room, 53 different personalities, 53 different opinions on everything that they're probably talking about. Because you're not in that locker room, you're not just talking football. You're talking about life, politics, science.
Sure, right.
Everything in
any
there.
Job, just like any job.
And you're going to have friction personalities, things that can cause fissures in the locker
room.
But
we're talking about this particular one.
Why does somebody else have to say something about something that I did or said?
Right.
Publicly like that. And that's maybe how Ben might feel a little bit.
And again,
it was like 3 former players who have nothing to do right now with this organization.
One of them never actually even played for the coach. The conversation that got started from the very comments that he got leaning on his players. Again, this all started with a man that never played under that guy starting it. So again, it's very iffy. The whole thing, I think, overall, again, for the person that never played to be able to jump in and make those comments, it maybe wasn't even his place. So again, it's going to be controversial. People are going to be talking about it for a while. But I want to talk about this, guys. The 10 best championship games since 2000. Get this. This involves football, baseball, hockey, even soccer. The number one best, this is what it is. It's 10 best championship games since 2000 was they're saying, guys, the Patriots and the Falcons.
28 to 3.
Patriots and the Falcons, where the Falcons were up, what was it?
28 to 3 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's an epic game, man. I hate the Patriots, but that was an epic football game.
Number 2, I'm going to be honest with you. It's the 2022 FIFA final, the FIFA Cup finals. I'm not even sure. Who is this? France? All they have is the flags. I don't even have names here, but it's a soccer game. That is supposedly the second. Mike, do you know the teams that was in the 2022 FIFA World Final that would be considered one of the best?
That was France versus Argentina. Mbappe versus Lionel Messi. Messi finally capped it off.
I do remember the game.
Yes, and it won 2 penalty kicks, and yes, that was a fucking phenomenal game.
Number 3, last year's World Series Game 7, the Toronto Blue Jays and the LA Dodgers, guys.
Very good.
Third, excellent Game 7 came down to it.
Great series.
For sure. Number 4, 2006 Rose Bowl between Texas and USC. This is the 4th biggest game, biggest championship game, in the 2000s. Number 5, one of my favorite, New York over the Patriots when the Patriots were 18-0 coming into that Super Bowl. One of my personal favorites, guys. That comes in at number 5.
Hell of a game.
Number 6.
Was that helmet catch?
Yes.
Yeah. Number 6, 2018 college football title game between Alabama and Georgia. They have that as the number 6 best championship game of the 2000s. Number 7, the 2016 NCAA championship in basketball, Villanova versus North Carolina.
Yes.
Now, these next ones here, guys, there's 3 left. And we're all still wondering, man, where's the Steelers? Are there any Penguins?
Super Bowl 43 got to be on there, right?
Number 8, 2016 NBA Finals, Game 7. The Cavs in the
Golden State Warriors.
Yes,
I remember. Very good series.
Yeah, I was wondering if that game would come up here because they were down 3-1 in that series and
came back.
Number 9,
Steph Curry.
Number 9, best championship game since the year 2000, Super Bowl 43, Pittsburgh Steelers, Arizona Cardinals. And finally, guys, the 10th best championship game in pro sports here in America. Number 10, the NBA, the Spurs and Heat 2013 Finals, Game 6, which I'm not drawing any recollection of that, but on this list, I would have liked to see some more NFL, but you know what? They were fair. They went football, they went college, they went basketball. So
no hockey games in there.
No hockey games in there.
Shame.
What's the most memorable hockey game that you would make as an exciting championship memory? Do you guys, Mike, you follow hockey more? Is there any that you guys could even pull out of a hat to say that it should even be considered on a list?
I can't.
2009 Pittsburgh Detroit was a pretty darn good Game 7.
Ooh. Damn right it was.
In the one the previous year too, and that was Game 6. But no, that Game 7
we lost the game, but it was still amazing.
Yeah. When Fleury made that last second save,
and everybody's gloves flew up in the air. And Max Talbot ran. Oh, what a classic!
Yeah, for me that would supplant the Spurs v Heat, but all the other ones, I
agree.
I don't know that the Villanova NC State one or North Carolina could probably come off that list, but it's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays Dodgers, I think that's just recency.
That's very fresh, but it also was an amazing game, and I mean, come on,
it was too.
And those guys were so good.
Can't.
Jamal says this. I want to go to a hockey game. He goes, bet it's fun as shit. I got to be honest with you.
Oh, it's a blast.
Like baseball in a sense. Like it's like watching paint dry when it's on TV sometimes. If it's not your team, if it's not an exciting game, but you go to a game, you go to a hockey game, you walk away from that saying, wow, that was really
fun. Electric. It's the most electric atmosphere. I mean, I've been to a Steelers playoff game before, and don't get me wrong. I mean, hardcore, fired up, but it doesn't feel the same as being in that enclosed arena, elbow to elbow with 18,000 other screaming Penguins fans. And they're so loud that you can barely even hear the music. And then all of a sudden you see Sidney Crosby fire a goal from the left wing circle and knock it in. And you can feel it. The whole city shakes. There is some real great stuff about hockey. Hockey's atmosphere is unmatched.
And like you can hear every puck hit the board.
You hear the blades on the ice skating. You hear the sticks tapping on the ice. You hear the puck hitting the board.
You can hear them chirping each other too. If you're close enough, you can hear them talking shit to each other.
You can hear them screaming, calling out numbers. 18, 18, 14, 14, left side. It's a blast. You feel close. And the only professional hockey games I've ever been to have been at PPG Paints Arena, or whatever it's called now, First Energy, whatever. But I would imagine that it's the same feel in just about every hockey arena. You feel like you are part of the game as a fan.
It is a blast.
Even when you're in the sky, you feel close.
I've been to all 4. I've been NBA, NHL, MLB, and NFL. And you know what? It is the most electrifying, as Finch said. That is a good word to put it. I like them all. I love going to every game. The one thing about the NFL, the football that really bums me out is all the TV timeouts because you don't have the announcers when you're at a football game. So you're all right. Why is everybody standing around again? Didn't they just stand around like 2 minutes ago? They're all standing around. And again, sometime if you're not really, especially if you're not really with it, you're wondering what the fuck is all this standing around, because there's a lot of standing around in NFL games.
I've been to Steeler games and I feel like I spend more time out of my seat. Because you eventually end up just walking around the stadium. You get a view of the field from everywhere. You end up walking around, seeing everything while the game's going. You stop, you watch a TV by the popcorn stand to catch a play or two, and you scream at it, and then you walk away. Whereas in hockey, man, once you sit down, you don't leave your seat because it's non-stop.
They yell at you. Like the play's going on. Don't get out of your seat.
Sit down. What are you doing? Yeah,
well, he can stand up and
quit eating your corn on the cob long ways. What's the matter with you? Sit down.
What kind of idiot are you? You ate that hot dog in one bite.
Those ushers, man, plays going on. You're not going up these fucking steps.
Yeah.
You're not going down to your seat. You got to fucking wait for stop and action, bitch. Like, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes that could be a long time, man.
I know, too.
You can go 5 whole minutes without a stop and action.
A couple of things, guys. Let's talk about a few Steeler situations here. First of all, I do want to say former Steeler Miles Boykin did retire, Mike. So there you go. Take Miles Boykin off your honey-do list, your want list for the Steelers wide receiver core moving forward to improve this team. Miles Boykin is no longer available. Mike, he hangs it up. Miles Boykin has retired.
R.I.P. Miles Boykin on a career. But I remember when we signed him, he was a good little gunner and a good little fifth wide receiver.
Jamal says, have you ever tried to fight in the cold? Absolutely. And it's not fun. Your knuckles get effed up so fast. And you're right. It's a whole different experience. But you know what? I can imagine, especially with the hockey guys. They're on the ground rolling around on the ice and shit. I've never fought on ice per se, but it's definitely a different experience. So this Miles Boykin retired, guys. Also, Patrick Queen. What about this? Anybody pick up on this? He removed the Steeler banner on his X account and replaced it with a quote. This was replaced on Patrick Queen's X, formerly known as Twitter site. He says this quote, humble enough to know when I'm replaceable, but wise enough to know ain't nobody like me. Let me say that one more time. This was a quote from Patrick Queen. He replaced his Steeler banner on his X account with a quote that says this, humble enough to know when I'm replaceable, but wise enough to know ain't nobody like me. Mike, what does this say for Patrick Queen? What is this saying about him? What's going on with him and what's this all about?
Yeah, when I saw that, my first thought went to, I wonder if they're like, the teams have conversations with these guys all the time. I wonder if they informed him like, hey, Pat, we like you, we love you, but it's time for us to move on. We weren't getting what we thought out of you. Or, hey, we're letting you know ahead of time, you and your agent ahead of time, you're going to be an early cut. Start doing some back channel communiques with our teams that we all know it's happening at this time. So I wondered there might have been a conversation like, hey, you know what? We had fun with you here, but it's time for both of us to move on. So usually when players start doing that, they kind of know like it's the end of the line for them at their current spot.
Finch, why are we okay with Patrick Queen in this situation? What does Peyton Wilson have that Patrick Queen doesn't have? Because again, right now people were okay with Patrick Queen if he would leave. People were still, they're still cool with Peyton Wilson. What does Peyton Wilson bring to the table that Patrick Queen don't have? Because I know some people that they're ready for Peyton Wilson to be gone as well, and I think that it's fair. I think that they're both playing average ball. They both make big plays sometimes. They both play under subpar sometimes. What is Peyton Wilson bringing to the table that Patrick Queen isn't?
I don't think he has as big a paycheck as Patrick Queen, for one. So when you take two guys who are giving you similar product, yet one of them is costing a heck of a lot more, then it becomes a value proposition. I think a lot of people are thinking that way. And then it's going by with the quote that you posted. When I look at somebody's Twitter and I see a quote like that, to me, that's just the male athlete's version of my mom's live, laugh, love type shit that she has all over the walls. I mean, really, you really can't take it too personal. He probably had a drink last night and was sitting there on his Twitter and was sulking a little bit and was like, yeah, this will show him, some shit like that.
Right.
So, he was all in his feels and he changed up the picture. Who cares? Live, laugh, love.
Steele says this right on the top, off the top message. He says, last year was Peyton's sophomore year. He's getting paid less. So this is why Peyton's not getting the heat that
he's had less opportunity. Yes. He's had less opportunity to prove himself.
And I agree with you. I agree with you, Jamal. He says, we'll see. He says P is suspect too as well. So we'll see. I always thought he was a little undersized. Don't get me wrong. Peyton Wilson, he's all over the place. The guy does.
He plays large.
He's a maniac. He plays large. But we will see, guys. I've kind of fallen into the area with Jamal with him. I kind of put him and Patrick Queen both in the same category. They're different players. They have different attributes, but they kind of following the same. I think that you need more of a dominant thumper on the inside. But keep one of them, and if you have more of a dominant thumper on the inside, I think it works itself out. But I think they're kind of similar in different ways, but in their own way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
neither one of them are the guy in the middle.
No,
if you had the guy, if you have Bobby Wagner, either one of those guys could stay and it would be just fine.
Yeah, and both those guys too, they need a lot of help from the D line up front to eat blocks so they can flow to the play.
Right.
And right now we haven't been getting that, but when my issue with Queen is the inconsistency, because he'll have games where you see that he's getting 12 tackles and you're like, man, he's a force.
Absolutely.
And there's other games like, hey, what the hell's PQ doing here? Why is he late to diagnose his play when last week he was flashing through the hole and undercutting guards and making these tackles? That's my problem with Patrick Queen.
And what was he doing in Baltimore? And what was he doing in Baltimore? Because again, he was a multi-year Pro Bowler in Baltimore. He comes here, we're ready to throw his ass out of town. I mean,
they had their front was really good, and
right.
I forget who the other. He had Roquan Smith next to him too.
We have Cam Hayward. They tell me that he's the best defensive tackle in the league. So what's the problem?
He's got a 98 on Madden this year. You know that,
right? They say it right at the beginning of the game. He's number 1 out of 37. So who has a better person to do that than us?
Counterpoint.
It would benefit. Also, guys, let's see what else we do have here. Speaking of, let's talk about Hall of Fame for a minute. Of course, we do know that Ben, we know that AB, we know that Joe Hayden, we know that Le'Veon Bell are all up for, they could all be eligible for the Hall of Fame next year. But also, guys, the following year, Pouncey, because again, it's been 5 years, or it's going to be 5 years since he retired. Guys, what about Pouncey? Is he, does he land in Canton one day? I'm not even saying a first time ballot, but in your opinion, is Marquise Pouncey does he get the golden jacket?
Definitely. He was a key member of a pretty darn good offense for a long time. If you asked Big Ben what player on his offenses over all the years, who would he pick to be in his personal Hall of Fame? And I'll bet you what, I'll bet Keese is number 1 on that list.
I liked when he was curb stomping the dude in Cleveland when they got in that big fight down in the end zone after I think the Myles Garrett situation. He was down there curb stomping people.
He might not be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's number 1 in my heart.
I gotta love Pouncey.
But no, I think Marquise Pouncey, he's right there. I don't think he's a first ballot. How many centers are going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? The first ballot thing goes to the serious position players. But you know what?
Absolute legend.
He's there. Yeah, right. Like your big quarterback, or the giant wide receiver, or that, Palomalu-esque, Ed Reed-esque. Those are first ballot guys, and that's commendable, and that makes sense. Marquise Pouncey, a great player. I'll bet every single defensive lineman he's ever lined up against would agree that he is Hall of Fame talent, Hall of Fame proven, and he's backed it up with amazing play and a couple of rings.
This is what Tyrone's saying. Real quick, Tyrone says Patrick Queen led the league in missed tackles. That is about Patrick Queen going back to that. But good. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah, Pouncey has 0 rings for me.
I forgot he was not on that 08 team.
Yeah. He came in like right after.
You're right. Hardings was that. Yes, I'm sorry.
Because he got hurt on his rookie year in the Green Bay Super Bowl, and that's why the line struggled. Pouncey, I think eventually gets in. I think he eventually gets into the Hall of Fame, but he's going to have to go up against someone like, Jason Kelsey, who has 2 rings, a couple other centers along that time. I think what's going to hurt Pouncey is his play in the latter half of his years went down because he started to become injury prone. And I wonder if people are going to remember that more than he popped in from a rookie. And
he had bad ankles.
From that rookie, I want to say that first 5 years of his career, he was arguably the best center in the NFL. Or definitely top 2. So I think he eventually gets in, but it's going to take a while.
I think he's Hall of Famer. Let me kind of U-turn here a little bit, guys, because there are some interesting comments here near the end, near the most recent comments. Steele was saying this. He says, we haven't really used Peyton's versatility yet. Maybe he hasn't been used to his strengths, and maybe Patrick Queen for that matter too, because again, in the Baltimore defense, he was a Pro Bowler. Also, he follows that by saying this. He says, there's a lot to unfold with Peyton. Jamal, I agree. He says he led the league in missed tackles. So, again, it's going to be very interesting with Peyton Wilson, but I apologize. Let's head back to the offensive side of the ball about Marquise Pouncey. I think that it's a no-brainer. I think he eventually gets in unless it just kind of plays out over time where he kind of misses, time goes on. And you look at guys like LC Greenwood,
right?
And guys that
Donnie Shell and
these guys should be in as well. I could see something like that happening as well. These guys kind of fall where maybe they should have been in. They just didn't get in. If he doesn't, I think it's going to be something like that. But I think Marquise Pouncey certainly deserves to be a Pittsburgh Steeler Hall of Fame center. I truly do.
You remember when Terry Bradshaw got in the late 80s and he made his speech and he made a very specific mention of Mike Webster? And he said that he would not be there if it wasn't for Mike Webster.
Yes.
I could see Ben Roethlisberger making a similar comment and eventually leading to Marquise being in the Hall of Fame.
Steel Loyal is also making the point that Peyton Wilson was 6'4", 240 pounds, definitely bigger than PQ. Let's talk about a few other players, guys. Again, we're going to be coming from the break when we do come back from the vacation, heavy in the draft. That's why we didn't quite touch on it yet. I have some things in play. Some things are actually being worked on to get that already, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun with the draft this year. That is being worked on. Let's get into some other people, though. Some of these names I want to talk to you guys about. Well, first off, let me say this. Aaron Rodgers, in the 2025 quarterback ratings, Aaron Rodgers, number 16, even at 42 years old, he fell into number 16 out of all the eligible quarterbacks in this situation, or, in this particular list. A lot to say about this because, again, there's a lot of people that really like the idea of Aaron Rodgers coming back. There's a lot of people that would rather just move on. Finch, you weren't here all week. What's your opinion on that? Again, 16 overall, Aaron Rodgers was. He's plenty capable of winning football games. But here's my argument before you answer. My argument is this. Would you rather win? Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers help you get these wins, as he does? He brings a couple wins with him just by what he has. Would you rather win now, or would you rather learn to win now? In other words, have Aaron Rodgers bail you out in situations, or would you rather have the players of the future actually playing, losing, but learning how to win because they will be the long-term players here? So my question is, guys, would you rather win or learn to win this upcoming season with, of course, the Aaron Rodgers news just hanging who knows how long again? Would you like to win this year, or would you like to learn to win so you can move forward? Finch?
What I'd like to happen and what should happen might not be exactly the same thing. Of course, I want to win. Right. But let me say this. This Aaron Rodgers situation with, especially now that Coach McCarthy is here, this is kind of a rare thing, I guess you could say. Like, how do I want to put it? Like, you have this opportunity to bring these two guys together who obviously love each other, who have had great success in the past. You have one shot at possibly reuniting them and doing it again. It's kind of hard to not want to take that shot. These guys obviously have worked well together. I think McCarthy is bringing in some really unique thoughts and such to the Steelers that maybe only Aaron Rodgers can truly understand because he's had that working relationship with him in the past. And part of me is curious, just flat out curious. These two might be able to make it work. Do I think that's the best thing to do? Probably not. I was barking on.
Oh, what happened to Finch? Maybe he'll be back. Keep your eye open for him. Like, I'm sure he'll be. He probably can.
No, he's right here. He's right here. I got him.
All right, let him in. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. My screen went black. Anyway, what was I saying? This is kind of a weird opportunity. These guys were capable in the past. The curiosity takes over. What if? Just what if we do give them a chance for this one season?
And you got to remember, all the time they were together, they only won one.
They only won the one. But how many have we won since they won that one? None. I mean, it's the curiosity, I think, has a lot to do with it. And then after that, but like I said, what I want to happen and what I was saying a few weeks ago was that, this Steelers team kind of needs a true blow up. And that has started with the coaching staff and obviously there. When you do a true blow up and you start from zero, you're going to lose a lot of football games. Nobody wants to lose, but everybody wants to gain that experience and to gain that team building that comes with losing, it's kind of hard to say. And then also you get the advantages of drafting and all that stuff later down the line with a lower record. But
and one thing you got to remember as well, Finch, is college football. Losing at any point is bad. You always want to have wins. You always want to have the most wins. You always want to stay on top. High school, same thing. You got to remember that the pros, they really turn this league into a parity league to where, it's not easy. It's not easy to win. And, I think that kind of plays a role in this because you're kind of supposed to fall at some point. And again, we've stayed stagnant in the middle. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying we weren't able to take that natural ebbs and flows that the league gives you. And again, in a league that's meant to be parity, you're supposed to fall below the Mason-Dixon line sometimes.
Yes.
And again, by default of an accomplishment, we've stayed at 500. So it's not a bad thing, but it didn't allow us to keep up with the way that the rest of the league is following the fluctuation. As
you gotta water the flowers if you want them to bloom.
You gotta water the flowers, right?
If you want them to bloom, and sometimes the flower just won't bloom, and that kind of feels like what the Steelers have been for the last 8-10 seasons. Is that flower that just isn't quite getting enough fuel, enough water, enough sun. Still beautiful, but not as good as it should be. And in order to do that, sometimes you got to dig the fucking thing out of the ground and plant a new seed.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where we're at with these Steelers right now. Do we try to tend to the garden, or do we just replant and start over? And you're usually going to get a better crop once you.
That's what I'm saying. So that's kind of where we're at. So we're kind of defying the ebbs and flows once again. If we do bring Aaron back, because
I feel the curiosity factor is the big thing drawing me towards wanting to keep Aaron. Like, can they? Could they? Should they? Would they? Yeah, they can, but at what cost?
Mike?
I really don't want Aaron back. I want to move on, but I also want to win. Art Rooney said he wants to win, so that's why I'm bracing myself for Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers to come back, and I don't agree that we have to tear this thing down because there's talent on this team in good spots, like we've been saying. They've been rebuilding the team on the fly while trying to remain competitive, and they got some really good pieces on this team. And you have a strong draft, you're in a good position. They were 10-7 last year, and you see get more influx of younger, better talent. This team has the potential to take another step. Can they do it though with Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback? That's the crux of the argument. Like, if he's that guy that can get you there, you bring him back. If not, if you're going to be in the same spot, are you still going to take a leap though with this young talent? That's why I'm going back and forth wanting Aaron Rodgers or not, because an argument can be made either way that it's what's best for the team, but both arguments can be said they're best for the team. Because you want to win, you get Aaron Rodgers, get this young talent around him, you can make a jump. Don't get Aaron Rodgers, get this young talent, lose, get even more better young talent, and then you're going to be set up for the next year. So I'm willing to run it back either way. I don't think there's a right answer right now, because where the team is currently set up, in my eyes, both can be the right answer.
I think the right answer is actually John's latest comment on the board. If not, it's the game ball. Him and Jamal were talking about something, and John Steeler Freak's his response was, "I don't know. I don't remember. I'm stoned." There's the game ball on the terrible board for me today.
That is life advice right there.
Yes.
And let's just say real quick one thing. We blew up the coaching staff, and that was the one thing that the Steelers fans have been complaining about the most over the last 5 years. It hasn't been so much an individual player, this guy versus that guy versus this guy. For the most part, it has been the coaching has been the thing that has stayed the same. Just replacing the coaching staff. The Aaron Rodgers thing might just work itself out, whether he stays or goes, just because we do have a brand new, fresh set of management in place.
Here's a couple of names, guys. Of course, we did bring up yesterday, Mike, the possibility that a front runner for Derek Carr could be the Steelers. I know that you have no interest in Derek Carr, but one name, Mike, that really got my attention because Derpy in our group chat, not very active right here, but on the group chat, my God, he doesn't shut up. He's going on and on and on about the possibility. And again, I don't even think it's a possibility. It was just brought up in hypothetically, Mike, he's going on and on yesterday, and you actually had to go in and cool him off. He's going on about the possibility of Jared Goff possibly becoming a Steeler. I don't want Jared Goff anywhere near this team. Give your response, and then I'll give you why I don't want him anywhere near the 4-1-2, Mike.
Yeah, because when Derpy said this, I'm like, why would they do that? And his reply was, well, because it was like, oh, they'll give up a first-round pick to get him. I was like, why would they give up a number 1 for Jared Goff? He goes, because they're cheap. Cheap. You don't give if you're cheap, you don't give up a first-round pick, and you don't pay someone $55 million this year with like a 60. I'm sorry, cap hit of $69 million this year for Jared Goff. You don't do that. I don't want Jared Goff anywhere near this team. To me, it's just more of the same. He would eat up too much cap space. You're giving up a first-round pick where you're going to be able to land an impact receiver, corner, offensive lineman, or a defensive lineman to help further bolster those positions right there. No, you don't go out and get Jared Goff right now. He's not won a Super Bowl. No.
Ty says, Ty says this. He says, like, yeah, I see why Derpy doesn't come on and talk ball.
Poor Derpy.
I just have 2
Derpy
points.
makes great points sometimes. Okay. Let's defend the guy a little bit here.
Yeah, the shape of his head's the only point I've ever seen. Listen.
Oh, and the points on his nips too. Remember that?
Oh yeah, like the
they were pointed straight down. I don't know how he did that.
Jared Goff. My reasons. I have 2 points. 2 reasons why I don't want him around. He produced the lowest amount of points ever in a Super Bowl when his team lost 13-3 back when he was the Rams quarterback, and also he took a team, Detroit, that was moving in the right direction seemingly, and kind of crashed him into the ground. Now, listen, I'm not going to blame this whole season on Jared Goff, but he came in, had a pretty good thing. They were starting to build. You've seen last year a really good schedule, or a really good record. They hung with their division. They got in. They were a one and done in the playoffs. This year should have kept moving in the right direction. They fell off. They lost to us, a team that really didn't have an identity. Guys, Jared Goff, I don't want him anywhere around my football team. And you watch him, you're not overly impressed. And again, he has to have a lot of guys around him to be successful, as you've seen in Detroit. There's never really a time you think to yourself, Jared Goff really took this game over. I'd like to have him on my team. I've never had that feeling with Jared Goff. He just doesn't do it for me, guys. He just does not do enough for me. He's not an elite, in my opinion. He's a franchise quarterback, but not for somebody like us. I think we want better.
Yeah, I don't think Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams is coming over here.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting that type of wide receiver play. And no, I've never been overly impressed with Jared Goff. Yes, he can put up some gaudy numbers, but we see a lot of quarterbacks put up gaudy numbers, but that doesn't mean they're going to win you championships.
Drake put up more points in the Super Bowl than Jared Goff did.
Yeah.
Jared Goff managed 3. Even Drake May, after that dominant performance by the defense in this past week's Super Bowl, he managed to even put up 13 points. Yeah. So again,
Seattle's kicker had more points than him by the end of the first quarter.
They sure did. Mike, you did talk about this. You were talking about receivers briefly. Let's talk about the wide receiver room from last season. Let's talk about what we hope, expect, and want to see moving forward. RB, I'm going to get to your Sam Howell in just a minute. I find that interesting. Let me get through these receivers here. The wide receiver room from last year looked a little bit like this, guys. DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, Ben Skoranek, Miller, and eventually MVS. That was our locker room, our wide receiver room last year. Mike, how does that how different is that wide receiver room going to be this year? Again, let me give you the names: Metcalf, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin III, Ben Skoranek, Miller, and MVS. Mike, any of these players, we automatically Metcalf is going to be there. What was that? Was that death? I think I just.
Did you step on a cat, Mike?
The goddamn cat.
Did you just bite a cat? So my question is, Mike,
you really are a pussy hound.
Metcalf, really, you're Jamal. It's come on, that is not a professional wide receiver room. But Mike, we know that Metcalf's going to be here. Who else is going to be in this wide receiver room? Of course, we know that we're going to be looking at wide receivers in the draft. Of course, we know that free agency is just a month away. Mike, of those 6 names, who's not going to be in this wide receiver room this year?
MVS, Scotty Miller, apparently Finch. Calvin Austin is a good possibility to not be here as well. I think you're really going to see DK Metcalf, Roman Wilson, and Ben Skoranek being the only holdovers coming back.
One more time, who was it? Skoranek,
Wilson, and Metcalf.
Skoranek, Wilson, and Metcalf. Yeah, you're more than likely right. Again, I mean, Skoranek was in the Pro Bowl games. Wilson, Wilson still has to get a chance. Does Wilson get his chance? And I think that he will, because again, whatever the deal was, I'm sure the new coaching staff is going to come in and say, well, this guy is obviously making plays. He's obviously catching the ball. Yeah. There aren't many issues. Let's get him involved. So I think we're going to see a lot more Roman Wilson this year just by default.
I hope so. I'm dying to see this guy play some ball. I mean, if he's no good, he's no good. Come on, let's see it. You know what I mean?
What did we miss? You know what I mean? What did I miss that was so bad about him? Maybe he's just having a hard time creating separation. I don't know. Again, what did we miss to where he really got blackballed in the sense that you've seen everybody?
I don't get it.
You've seen everybody.
Obviously, he was hurt in this and that, but the dude, there could definitely be things that happen behind the scenes. There could be attitude issues. We don't know any of that. That stuff accounts into it. But at the same time, it's then just give us some answers. Tell us, why isn't this dude getting the opportunities he deserves? And, if he goes out and lays an egg, then it happens. At least then we know,
Jamal says this: if they can't go over the middle anymore, it's time to go. You got to be able to play receiver. You got to be able to play the game. And at the end of the day, we certainly will see that. Jamal's saying the Roman is soft. That is what he's saying. Mark Malone says Roman is on a cheap ass rookie contract. He'll come to camp at the very least. Finally, guys, the last topic that I want to get into, then we'll kind of free ball it after that for a little while. Is this? Did anybody hear this conversation by? Let me pull it up. If I could have it in front of me first, it'd be a lot better. This one here by who? By Emerson Martin. This recent scoop from
That is the whitest name I've ever heard.
Emerson Martin was a former offensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, and he was talking about Neil O'Donnell. I don't know if you guys caught this about Neil O'Donnell possibly throwing the Super Bowl, guys, 30 years ago. This was a lineman from the Steelers making those comments. Emerson Martin says that after the game, after that Super Bowl, let me give you what he said. He said this, but after we all got on the plane afterwards, went back to Pittsburgh, everybody on the team, with the exception of Neil O'Donnell, he got into a limo with his agent, and that was the last time I saw him. I don't know if he got paid, but I didn't feel like he played for us. It's finally somebody on the inside. Again, we talked to Chad Brown here on the show. We talked to LaVon Kirkland on the show, and they both kind of said the same thing. Here we have Emerson Martin, guys, basically coming out and saying, you know what, this cat, he literally got in a limo with his free agent after that game, after those 2 interceptions 30 years ago, and drove off into the sunset. Just the fact that somebody from within is bringing this up, maybe like some other things that we've been talking about in the quarterbacks. Does that make it any more interesting to you that now somebody from the team, somebody that was on the offensive line, somebody's coming out saying that I think that this cat took the money and ran?
I find that a very interesting conversation. Yes, I think that's pretty wild that he said that, and I believe everything he says. But let me just counterpoint real quick. If I just threw away my Super Bowl the way that went down, if I was a Neil O'Donnell in that situation, I wouldn't want to be on the team playing after that either. You know what I mean? Yes, it's kind of sketchy the way he left, but at the same time, I'd be like, you know what, man, my team not very happy with me right now. It's obvious that he was the reason that game was blown. He was the GOAT of that game in the old school sense, as we mentioned earlier, of what a GOAT used to be. And he kind of looks like a GOAT, to be honest with you. Although I have looked at GOATs before and thought they were cute. I've never thought Neil O'Donnell was cute. He might be one of the ugliest people to ever wear a helmet in the NFL. You have a fucking face mask on and you're still ugly? Shut up, dude. Get out of here. 14's a stupid number. Get him out of here. This conversation's done.
Nothing against Neil O'Donnell. but I believe he threw the Super Bowl, is what Martin said. So again,
Vegas,
there's always going to be speculation. And as Vegas says right here on the board, the Jets they gave him a $25 million contract the next year. As a matter of fact, the next day I could remember he was in the paper with a Jets jersey in his hand. But just interesting, guys, just to hear from somebody again. You're hearing stories now with, of course, with Ben and JPZ and Coach T and everything. But to hear this story that goes back to, some of your Steeler moments through life, and we've all kind of agreed that Neil O'Donnell certainly. There was something that was off about.
Isn't it really the biggest conspiracy in Steelers history? Is that right there? I mean, really, if you think about it.
Well, hold on. That or the immaculate reception actually touched the ground, or touched the offensive player first. There's a couple
right. That's true. That's true. That's a pretty big one. You're right. The immaculate reception. But I mean, seriously though, like the whole Neil O'Donnell thing is silly. I 100% agree that he definitely had reasoning to leave that game the way he did, as Emerson was saying. But I also feel that I wouldn't want to be on the team playing. So I see it. If he feels that Neil did the wrong thing and took a payment, I 100% back his thought process for thinking that way, because just about everybody in Pittsburgh has thought that way ever since January of 1996, but including myself. But I think it's just one of those things where it's like, you get that little snippet of information, as you said, from the inside. It kind of justifies how you felt, whether or not it's a 100% truthful.
No, scoop.
Alert, I see Neil O'Donnell there. Yeah.
Alert. Neil O'Donnell is on the terrible board, and he says Emerson really was a bastard. There you go. Now we know.
Game ball.
Game ball, guys.
Game ball.
Game ball goes to Neil O'Donnell.
Vegas says
a phrase we never thought we would say.
Neil O'Donnell was the team MVP that year. We weren't in that Super Bowl without Neil O'Donnell.
No, he had a great season. There's no doubt about it. No doubt.
And you know what? It's crazy because a great season back then certainly doesn't compare to what a great season is now. I think it was just under 3,000 yards. I think that particular year he had 2,900 yards. I think he had 7 interceptions, maybe like 14 touchdowns. It definitely wasn't.
Yeah, he didn't have 20 touchdowns that year.
But it was certainly on his arm. It was on his arm. I mean, if you remember the AFC Championship game, him hitting Ernie Mills down the right sideline, down on that, getting that ball within the 5-yard line. So, I mean, his throws played a big part. But again, that team, in my opinion, shouldn't even been on the same field as that Dallas Cowboy team. I really feel that we were lucky to even be in the position that we were in. But ultimately, I think that Neil O'Donnell really effed us, whether it be by fault or whether it be by purpose or accident. You do have Emerson Martin saying that he believes that. And again, we did hear Chad Brown and we did hear LeVon. We heard their explanation. So we may never know. Again, like that ball in the immaculate reception, it's always going to be a mystery. There's no way to confirm or deny. We will never know unless Neil O'Donnell comes out and admits it, or Franco Harris comes back from death and gives us that information. We're never going to know the answers to these guys. Let's get back on the board. It is just about that time of the show. We're rounding third here. We'll get ready to do some trivia here shortly. Don't go anywhere. Getting ready to pull the trivia out real soon. I do want to say thank you to everybody for all the comments and everything today. Let me do right here. Sam Howell. Give me a little bit of Sam Howell scoop, RB. I do want to know because I have recognized that you had mentioned Sam Howell's name. Mike, where is Sam Howell right now? Do you know?
He is currently riding the bench with the Philadelphia Eagles.
He's back up in Philadelphia. Just let me.
That worked out well for Pickett.
Just let me know again, because I've seen that a few times, RB, and again, I know that you probably have information and scoop. Let me know what it is with Sam Howell for you. Again, somebody that I actually kind of forgot about, and again, I was surprised to even realize he was still in the league, and then I seen you kept mentioning that. So do throw up on the board. Sam Howell's trash is what Tyrone is saying. I do want to hear what RB has to say. Let me see. Somber says Goff needs to stay where it's warm. Terrible titties with bad takes, Tyrone is saying. That could be the show for Derpy and Tater Tot. Terrible titties with bad takes.
I'd watch the crap out of that show. That'd be entertaining as heck.
There's another game ball.
He'd have to do it topless, though.
Yeah, of course.
Never mind. I'm not watching.
Let's see. Tyrone says, okay, we did get that one before. I'm gonna go grab let's just drop right down here. I'm going to just go right below. RB says, I preferred roster building before Tomlin, where you drafted best player available and let him sit a season. And when one left, one stepped up, not just drafting strictly off of need and talent instead of scheme. He follows it up by saying, the team failed mainly off of scheme and philosophy.
That's a fine point.
It is.
That's actually a pretty solid point you make there. I definitely remember seeing an interview before where Bill Cowher drafted somebody in the first round. I think it might have been like Troy Edwards or something like that. And they asked him, like, what we have great receivers. Why are you drafting this guy first? And his answer was he was the best athlete and the best player that was available in that spot. And we took the best guy.
Lawrence Timmons was a best player available. I do know that.
Yeah, absolutely he was. And he turned out to be pretty darn good for a short time there. So I like that philosophy. Just pick the best player, because truly great athletes will do and will succeed wherever you put them.
Let me grab Chef Salad right here. He says, I would rather see what you have in Will and lose than have Aaron and go out and lose in the playoffs in the first round. I'm going to kind of jump around right now. Again, I apologize, guys. Let me go to I'm going to go right here to SF Surf. I do want to say welcome to SF Surf. I've recognized that from before. Welcome back to the board. SF Surf says, like our fearless leader, Coach Tomlin always says, don't live in your fears. Don't live in your fears. Mark Malone, if we draft two legit badasses at wide receiver, we are contending to win the Super Bowl with A-Rod. What do you guys think about that? I keep hearing that argument as well. Can there be anything that happens with bringing Aaron back that leaves us a competitor to possibly win a championship this year? Can the team be built at this point that if we keep Aaron Rodgers and we make enough moves, is there a chance the Pittsburgh Steelers could be playing in February this upcoming season?
I don't see it.
There's always a slight chance, the way the ball rolls a little funny every single time you kick it. You know what I mean? So yeah, of course there's a chance, and you want there to be a chance. Aaron is probably one of the better candidates for Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback right now. Who the hell are we going to draft that's going to do better? I don't really think Will Howard's going to be the guy eventually. I'd like him to be, but I just don't know. At this particular moment in time, Rodgers probably is the best candidate for the job, and you want the team to build around him. I think it comes back to what we were saying earlier about the combination of him and McCarthy. The nice thing about McCarthy is he knows Aaron better than most other coaches do, and he has a little bit of that inside feel on what it will take to bring out the best in Aaron. So from that aspect, I'd say the possibility is there. Just very slight. Very slight.
I know it's interesting. Mike, how many years off are we from legitimately? And again, we could draft this year and it could be a total bust, and we could bring free agents in and they could be a total bust. But right now, where we stand, how long can you realistically put a time on how many seasons this team is off from being a true, legit competitor in the NFL that could run with the teams that win? Not being good enough, but losing against the teams that win and beating the teams that you should win. How long does it take the Pittsburgh Steelers to get back to be the team that we want to see as a fan? Is it reachable? Is it obtainable? Is it attainable? Is it are we years away? How far off are we, Mike, from playing February football? Or at least in the caliber to say that you could be playing February football.
I want to say 2 years, but you got to have the right quarterback for that. Because you're going to have a lot of guys in their prime. Your line's going to be in their prime. Both lines should be in their prime. Porter will be well in his prime. Hopefully, whoever you get in wide receivers would be in year 2, year 3. They will be entering like the early parts of the prime of their career. But it all depends on who that quarterback's going to be. And I think we can get two impact receivers in the draft, but to have them, to put the pressure on them to where, okay, you have to have 1,000 yards or close to, you have to have close to 800-900 yards, as well as the number 3 receiver. That's a lot of pressure to put on 2 young rookies with a quarterback who has trouble pushing the ball down the field consistently anymore. I just think it's too much to ask for this guy. So I think we're 2 to 3 years, like at least 2 years away from being a true competitor. I think we'll compete next year, but to where a serious competitor, serious threat for the division or for the conference is going to be at least 2 years.
It's just interesting. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, they're curious. They want to know where their Steelers are, what they, where we're at, how far we possibly are from putting ourselves in that position. And again, Mike, it's difficult because, I mean, look at New England. You know, they went from a 4-13 team, then they made the big jump and they got the number 2 seed. They made their way to the Super Bowl, and again, they weren't ready. So you got to give that period of time too. Let's say that we become good enough, and then you're going to be at that point where you're not just ready yet. There's going to be teams that are more well seasoned and ready to play and win in the Super Bowl. So again, it's tough. You would like to think a couple years out, but at the end of the day, it's tough to figure out. And again, after going so long without winning a playoff game, we're so hungry. We're so hungry for this team to not just win game in the playoffs. I'm starving. I want to see this team be a competitor again. I want to see their names being mentioned with some of the the better teams in the league. And again, just for so long now, we've seen the Steelers going up against the better teams and just kind of shitting out like you expect them to do. We want to get by that. Again, you have to be able to beat some teams that you're probably not expected to beat. And we're just not there yet, Mike. We're still losing to teams that we should lose. Buffalo, a team that we thought we had a good chance. They came into Pittsburgh. They ran for 250 yards against us. That's the team that you don't want to be anymore as you move forward. Finally, one more thing, Finch, before we do get into some trivia for the day. How far is this offensive line? Now, of course, we know that we have our center. He's not going anywhere. Troy Fatano at the right tackle. He's not going anywhere. You've had a right guard that's kind of overachieved. You have Isaac Siamalu, who's a free agent who he may or may not be back, and Broderick Jones / Dylan Cook at the left tackle. How much about this offensive line has to improve, in what capacity do they have to improve for this team to get to Mike's 2-year window to just even be a team that's considered a top team? How far off is this offensive line? Is there still a lot of work? Are we even going to continue to entertain the thought of Broderick Jones? What's next in line for the horses up front, Finch?
I think that once again, I think the regime change, the coaching change is going to have a big part of it. For one, you're going to see different coaches with different different philosophies on how to operate as a lineman to get things done. I think that's going to have a huge impact on this offensive line. Players wise, they're not bad. They started off last season kind of meh, and they improved it. Actually, the last 2 seasons, I feel we've done that. I think the offensive line had improved throughout the season. Aaron Rodgers didn't take a whole bunch of sacks. He stayed clean reasonably, and that's good. The issue I always had with the offensive line were mental mistakes. A lot of penalties in key moments. Broderick Jones comes to mind a lot.
Does the offensive line, are they within 2 years?
Are they within 2 years of being championship caliber?
Of blocking their quarterback from that Seattle defense that you've seen on Sunday evening playing against New England?
I don't know. I'm not to be that good. That is a legendary performance they put on in that Super Bowl. I don't think we quite have that capability, but you don't have to be 100% the greatest to win games. You just have to be better than the team that you're playing against that particular day. And I feel like the Steelers are on the positive path to making that happen in most of their games. You're not going to win them all.
Let's say 2 years from now, I mean, chances are most of that defense is probably still, it's going to be the same in Seattle. I mean, give or take some players.
But if that was the case, and we were
playing
them,
then we did improve. We fell into this 2-year window, and we managed to sneak into the Super Bowl 2 years from now. Is this offensive line? That's what I'm saying. How far is it from being able to play in that particular game that you've seen on Sunday night? It still seems like we're pretty far away, especially considering that we're probably going to be looking for linemen in the draft to try to complete this this offensive line, Mike. And that's where I'm going to come to you for the very last question. What is the Steelers going to do for this offensive line in the draft? Of course, everybody knows the positions we do need, positions that are obvious, of course, wide receivers, the whole way down the list. Mike, what's done in the draft this year for that offensive line? Do they go left tackle? Do they try to do better than what they have at right tackle? or I mean, do they go left guard because we see them all over? They try to do better than what they got at right guard. Do you still chance it with Broderick? Again, at the end of the day, we still haven't seen Cook in big doses. What we've seen in those couple games at the end of the year, he played well, but again, in small doses, it's hard to tell. What happens in April for this offensive line, Mike, in order for them to improve?
I'm looking for a guard, at least in rounds 3 or 4. Maybe even the first round, depending on like what receivers start falling off the board. If we can't trade up in time to grab one of them, I do think there's going to be a player taken for guard, and I think the tackle position is going to be battling out between Dylan Cook and Broderick Jones, unless a free agent comes available. And I think, we can put him in here, and sorry, bro Joe, you can be trade bait, you can be a backup swing tackle type position. I definitely think they're going to look in the draft for a guard, definitely, maybe even a tackle later in the draft to just maybe sneak on the roster in the practice squad in some capacity. But I don't see a real high pick unless, like I said, your receivers are gone or in your corners are gone. You're like, fuck, we need an offensive lineman, and one of the big guards is sitting there. They'll grab them, but I think that's going to be the play. But I'm not anticipating a lot of offensive linemen being drafted.
Mike, why don't you go tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store, all of our social media links, and the dumb thoughts. The2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. Really cool stuff on the website. Mike does a lot of work over there. You can check out his dumb thoughts. You could check out the links to all the shows that we've ever done, all 910. You could also, there is contact information. And if you go over to the merchandise store, there's a lot of cool things with the Fist logo on it, a lot of sharp stuff. Go check it out at www.d2dumyinzers.com. That's www.d2dumyinzers.com. Guys, let's get into some trivia. It is that time. It is that part of the day. Finch, Mike, everybody on the board, everybody at home, put your thinking hats on because it's time for some trivia. Today, it's going to be a Jay Peasy trivia question. That's right. Ooh. Sticking with the theme, it is going to be Peasy Day when it comes senior. When it comes to the trivia question, everybody put on your thinking caps. Here we go. Question of the day is this: what place is Joey Porter on the Steelers' all-time sack list? What place is Joey Porter Sr. on the Steelers' all-time sack list? Take a minute to think it over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
Don't look it up. See if you know it, guys. Throw your guesses up on the board. Tortilla, he's saying 8th. Not a bad guess, guys. Again, question of the day. What place is Joey Porter Sr. on the Steelers' all-time sack list? Mike, what's your thought process?
I'm trying to figure this out here because I don't know if he was that big. I know he had some big sacks, some decent numbers the one year, but it was never like really high. I don't think he ever had over like 15, 12 in a year. Man, because he was more of an all-around guy too. He did a lot in coverage.
Yeah, he's a good coverage guy. Yeah.
Well-rounded linebacker, wasn't just a blitzer. I'm going to say 15th. I think he's a little lower than we think.
All right. Is that your final answer, 15?
Yeah.
All right. Locking Mike in. 15 is his final answer. Finch, I'm going to come to you. Question of the day. What place is Joey Porter Sr., the Jay Peasy? What place is he in on the Steelers' all-time sack list? Mike says, you say 15th, correct?
Yes.
15th. Chef Salad is saying 5th overall. Tortilla is saying 8th. Vegas is saying Nick Herbig is 33. Nick Herbig is 33. So there you go. Finch, what's your thought process on this? Mike went 15. I'm seeing all different kind of answers. What neck of the woods are you in on this trivia question of the day, which is what place is Jay Peasy on the Steelers' all-time sack list? Tyrone's coming in with 6 on the board. Finch, what are you thinking?
I really don't know the answer. I'm trying to think of other players where they set on the, I know Watt is up at the top. Jason Gilden's real high, a couple other guys, and they didn't record sacks in the 70s. So some of those guys, I highly doubt you're going to see a Lambert on that list, even though he might have had however many. But, I'm just going to take a guess. Joey Porter was number 55. I'll say he was 5th.
All right, 5th. There you go. That is the second 5th on the board. You and Chef Salad have both went with 5th. Woodson is 40th, Vegas is saying. So there you go, guys. Do what you want with that. We'll give you another minute or so. Question of the day. What place is Joey Porter Sr. on the Steelers' all-time sack list, guys? 70th is what TC is saying. Guys, throw your answers up on the board. If you think, if you don't think, don't just throw up a guess anyway. What's it going to hurt, right? Guys, again, the question of the day, where does Peasy fall on the Steelers' all-time sack list, guys? A lot of different answers, a lot of different guesses. Let's find out where he falls. Question of the day. What place is JPJ's dad, Joey Porter Sr., on the Steelers' all-time sack list, guys? Of course, he is... Vegas is saying Troy Polamalu is number 41 overall. Peasy, guys, all time, the 7th. The 7th most sacks in Pittsburgh Steeler history. Joey Porter. Yeah. Joey Porter, guys. Everybody was kind of getting around it, right around with the 5 and with the 6.
Do you have
and
a list?
5 and the...
Do you have the top 10 list, maybe?
I could pull it up here in 1 sec.
I'm very curious.
Yes, absolutely. Give me just 1 moment. I'll grab that and we'll take a real quick look-see of the top 10. Let's see.
I got it. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, so I definitely got, Gilden is higher than him, I think. Watt, obviously. Maybe...
Yeah, Mike, go ahead if you got it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right.
Sorry, I had it, then it went away.
Farrier wouldn't be up there.
Kirkland is 28. Kirkland is 28, according to Vegas.
Hell yeah, brother.
I don't know. I lost it. Because now mine is saying Porter was 5th.
Which was my guess.
All right, here we go. Let me grab it. Steelers all time. Number 1, TJ Watt. Yeah, you know what, Mike? Same with me. If you just pulled up the regular Google one, it's saying Porter is 5th. But anyway, let's give what we have. TJ Watt, guys, number 1, 115. Cam Hayward, number 2 at 88.5. James Harrison, 80.5. Jason Gilden, 77. Porter was 60. Keith Willis, guys, falling at number. He had 59 sacks. Lamar Woodley with 57. Greg Lloyd, 53.5 sacks, and Kevin Green with 45.5 sacks. Brett Kiesel with 30 sacks. Who would have thought? Keith Willis above Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green, and all them guys? There you go. So again, the list I'm looking at has it at 5th as well. So we're going to go 5th, guys. If you said 5th, it is correct, and that's what we're going to go because that's what Google says.
Yep.
Congratulations on that.
And my hands were in view the whole time, okay, guys? So before you start accusing me of Googling, I was sitting like this.
Listen, I'm not even sure that Google. I'm not even sure that Google's being honest with us because
Google AI can be a little funky at times. I'll give you that.
Here's the thing. I went over to Pro Football Reference
Talk or whatever. Yeah.
It has Porter at 7th because it has LC Greenwood and Joe Green at 4 and 5, but they didn't track sacks right there. So they're guesstimating.
So if you pick 7 or 5, you were correct. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
7 or 5 was correct. 10th is Aaron Smith. Vegas is saying. So there you go, guys. Good job. A few things before we do get ready to wrap things up for the day. I do want to say this, Mike. I know that football is over, but you know what? People still like to get their buzz on. And if you're ready to get your buzz on this weekend, do stop and get yourself some Duquesne Pilsner, guys. It's great beer. You could get 12 packs, 6-packs at Giant Eagle. You could always get cases at your local distributor. Mike, we have ample Duquesne Pilsner, always have it on tap here at the studio, Mike. The people at Duquesne Pilsner go out of their way to include us in a lot of their promotions, and we are forever grateful. In return, we just ask to either go grab yourself some Duquesne Pilsner or just stop by any of their social media, hit the like, follow. I think they'll appreciate all that greatly, Mike. It is made right here in Pittsburgh. Duquesne Pilsner. It says it right on the can. Grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
Grab Duke.
Also, what else do we got, Mike? We will be heading into our vacation. We'll finish up tomorrow. Tomorrow will be episode 911, and then we will start vacation after
Call
that.
The police.
And then we'll be back not the 16th, but the following
The 23rd,
Monday,
I believe.
Whatever it is. Would it be the 23rd? It'll be the 23rd.
I think that would be the 23rd, yes.
And we'll be back that day, guys, from our vacation. We do have a lot of things going on, though. We're going to be working. We're trying to reload, get ready for the next part of this. Again, we're heading into the 5th year. We're hitting 1,000 episodes this summer, so we're trying to get the stretch run down pat so we could have a nice, smooth run. A lot of cool, fun things we're going to be doing, interesting things, and again, some guests I think that you're going to love when it comes time, guys. Also, if you're interested, we're looking to grow. We are adding people. Do send. Mike is going to put the website. I'm sorry, not the website. The email address up on the terrible board. Do inquire through the email address. We have parts on the show that's open. We have all different kind of stuff. Mike, we have. What do we have? I don't know. Things that are, you could do segments. You could be here on the show with us. You could do splinter shows, a bunch of different things we are going to be doing. If you are interested in joining the gang, you think that
anything creative would be awesome. You know,
absolutely.
Somebody could come up with some really cool ideas, maybe things that that the three of us or Derpy couldn't think of to add to the show would be just so nice. It'd be cool to have just some different content and some more entertaining stuff. You guys are already awesome, of course. But there you go. I'm looking forward to it.
The email is right there. Mike did add it. He's putting it right at the bottom. To Dum Yinzers. That's with TWO in the email address, guys. So again, inquire there. We'll get back to you. A lot of things. Again, there's a lot of openings. We are looking to grow the show, heading into the 5th year and 1,000th episode later on this year. Also, guys, we are also we're looking for sponsors and advertisement as well. You want a business or even a show, anything like that you want to advertise, we'll be doing it right here on the show as well. Also inquire in the email, send your email for your inquiry. And finally, we're going to be having free networking Saturdays. Once we come back at a certain point, what we're going to do is if you have a show, maybe you have a news show, maybe you're interested in having a show on the internet, we'll be having Saturdays where you'll be able to add it up on our network all day for free. That way people could get exposure. We could everybody could network basically. So a bunch of different things coming up down the pike, guys. It's going to be a big one. Again, this offseason itself is a story in its own. So many things are going to happen for this Pittsburgh Steelers team between now and when they show up to camp in July. You don't want to miss a part of it. We'll be here for every step of the way. Again, we have the Combine at the end of the month. When we come back, Mike, the Combine will be getting ready to start next month. This time we'll be having free agency, the tampering period, and then not too long after that, we will be having the draft right here in Pittsburgh. So many things are going to decide what is going to go on with our Steelers moving forward. First, we have the coaching change. We have the assistants in place. Now we're going to see what we're going to do with free agents, draft picks, as we have 12 draft picks going into the 2026 draft, just 71 days away from right now, guys. So a lot of things going down this offseason. We hope everybody sticks around. It's going to be a blast. And again, there's going to be there's going to be excitement. There's going to be some surprises along the way. And again, some new things that we are adding and new kinks. So guys, it's going to be a lot of fun. We hope that everybody does stick around. With that being said, guys, if you haven't had a chance, do go check us out on social media. We're everywhere. You can check us out on Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Google us, AI us, whatever you want to do. Keep up with what's going on with the Two Dum Yinzers on a day-to-day basis. And finally, if you haven't had the chance yet, do hit the like button down below. Hit the sub, share, comment, anything. It all helps us in the algorithm, and it's all greatly appreciated. Finch, anything before we get ready to take off for today, brother?
To our friends here in the chat who are fans of video games, I know there's a bunch of you in there. Every time we do a video game thing on here, you guys show up. We're doing one tonight, Derpy and I. Sony PlayStation is doing a 1-hour presentation event, and we're going to live stream it here. And Derpy and I are going to chat games. So for about 1.5 to 2 hours this afternoon, starting around 4:30 p.m. Eastern, you'll see this ugly face and Derpy's titties right here on the Two Dum Yinzers network, chatting about Sony video games, PlayStation, that all kinds of good stuff. So if that's a content you're liking, something a little different, we're going to be here today.
Also, Mike, I'm seeing that Jamal is saying that it's not letting him send an email. Did you do it? Throw up the link one more time. Try doing it directly through the link that Mike does throw up again. It's TWODUMYINZERS @gmail. Try that, Jamal. If that doesn't work for you, we will figure out what's going on, and we'll have a definitive answer tomorrow and have it fixed for you and everybody else for tomorrow. But I'm not real sure why. It's saying it's saying the email is incorrect, Mike, is what he is saying. So again, Mike's going to piss with that for a couple minutes. If he doesn't get anything going, try that there. See if that one works. If not, it looks identical to the other one. But if it doesn't work, we'll work endlessly to make sure that it's correct by tomorrow. I do apologize, Jamal. If anybody else is having issues as well, do let us know. We'll get to the bottom of it ASAP. I do want to say, guys, before we do take off for the day, let me scoot all the way up to the top here. I also want to say this, guys. Thank you for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. You guys are awesome. I do want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You are the lifeblood of this show. I always say it, and I always mean it. You guys are fantastic. And everybody else, if you're just watching, maybe just listening at home, in the gym, in the car, wherever the case may be. There you go, Mikey says that time.
Yeah, it worked.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just got notifications popping up.
All right, so there you go, guys. Do if you hit one of these links, try the bottom one. But again, the email address is TWO@gmail.com. But again, guys, thank you so much. All right, Finch, you got it working too. Guys, anything else, Mike? Anything before we take off?
No, it was a great show. This was fun. I can't wait to be back tomorrow. And Spurs versus Heat, top 10.
Yeah. I don't
come on. And the
Get
Cavs,
the fuck out of here.
anywhere where you got a Cavaliers team in the top 10 of anything.
That Cavs Golden State was an amazing game. I remember watching it. I'll give it to that one. But the Heat one,
anytime there's a Cleveland team involved, I think you're pulling my leg. But at the end of the day,
that's a fair point. You mentioned Cleveland. I didn't think of it that way. I just remember it being a great game. But you know what, Ryan? I think you're right. I concede.
Vegas says, seems like my email. So there you go, guys. Do send them through. We are getting them. I don't know what was wrong. We apologize if you didn't get it to go through before. Give it a shot again. I think that it is working. If not, we'll certainly make sure it's working by tomorrow. But again, Finch, check him out later on today. Him and Derpy, video games. Guys, anything else? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Have a great week off, guys.
All right, we appreciate it. Finch, thank you so much again, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to wrap it up and head into the vacation. Again, tomorrow we will be here at our regular time. We hope to see everybody then. For Derpy, for Finch, for Mike, myself, everybody have a great Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.